Welcome to another live stream of the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
We're here again. Time for more fun and games. Jeff will be joining us a little bit later on. He's working back a bit later than usual tonight, but he will be joining us very, very soon. But for now, you got us two, and already Sonia's jumped in saying, "Good evening, gents. Good to see you." We already get the messages from Sonia every week. She's like, "When are you guys going live?
Hurry the hell up!"
we never on time, Sonia. You know that by now. You should know better than anyone, actually. But anyway, good to see you, Sonia. Hopefully you're keeping well out there. Same with Andrew over on YouTube. Thanks for joining us as well. Nice to get that reassurance in the beginning that we are getting both comments from Facebook and YouTube to begin with, which is always nice. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. Make sure you jump in the comments and say hi as we go through things. Got a bit to get through as always. Tonight we're going to be talking about. We're going to be just postponing the battle thing for one more week. We'll start the concept albums battle next week. But this week we're going to discuss some underrated discoveries we've made over the years, one each. So Dave, myself, and Jeff have got one each. And we're going to discuss some underrated bands that we found over the years doing the Hard Rock Show, or in Jeff's case, more likely to be as a fan. Although, Dave, your pick might be from when you were a fan more than a part of the show.
It is.
Yeah. Yes. And then, so from there, and the artists that we also wish we had a little bit more out of, which is the interesting sort of twist to it all as well. So that's the main premise of things tonight. We are going to continue our band building exercise. So that'll be a bit later on as well. Time for the lead guitarist this week out of the Big Four going on. We've got new singles from The Black Skeleton and Elegant Weapons to discuss, and a whole lot more as well. We'll have a hot topic on were Metallica right to sue Napster? That's coming up in a bit. I don't know. Everything's there. There's a description for this episode. You'll find links to everything we're talking about in there as well. So the little reference tracks for you to go and check out. There'll be a gig plug in there as well. Our details are in there. So make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit the share button, all that sort of stuff as well. You know, all the usual things that everyone gets you to do are no different. So please do that. And while you're checking out that description, please check out our fantastic sponsors. A big thank you to Squid Ink Screenprinting, Alt-Cvlt Rockstar Finance. As always, just give them a like or a follow too. That'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. More people saying hi, which is good to see. So we have Terry saying, hi guys, good to see you as always. Love having the regulars here. Luke saying, great show. Thank you for the kind words and thank you for joining us. Thanks for jumping in there. Same with Vinny. Good evening, lads. We're not going to discuss the footy tonight. Aren't we? We should, but I won't. Dave,
sounds like good news for Andrew.
Yeah, it was good news for me and bad news for others. So after the comments that was had during the week, but no, it was a cracking game, absolutely cracking game. Darren's here saying, "Hey, yo, good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping well as well." Sonny's going, "I'll set the alarm for 9 p.m. from now on." We'll try to be earlier. I promise. It's just not working.
Set the alarm. What time do you go to bed?
Well, I don't know, before or after us at this rate. Anyway, Sally's here as well. Good to see you as always, Sally. Love having you here. So she's gone, hey guys. Same with Chris over on YouTube saying hi, evening. Good to see you as well. Thanks for joining us as well. Same with Danny. Good to see you too. Thanks for jumping in there. Getting a few here. Yeah, Chris said hi all. Kieran over on YouTube. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I'm not sure, but I don't recall the name, so it might be first time with you. So thanks for jumping in and saying hi. And a regular of ours, Nicole. Hello. That was a great TV show.
Great show.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah.
I love that show.
Pay attention, for I shall say this only once.
Good morning.
Yes, good mooning. Yes, cracking show, but hopefully we'll have as much fun with this as we used to have watching that show back then. But yeah, good to see Nicole as always. And Darren's wishing her a happy birthday for last week too, which is, yes, again, happy birthday for last week. Speaking of the week that's just gone by, I guess we should do the rounds quickly. Dave, how's your week been?
Yeah, nowhere near as exciting as the previous one where I was off work and back at work now. Kids are back at school, and it's back to the same old, and things have gone crazy as always, as things does. Got the whole month of May coming into June coming up, which is busy. Anniversaries, birthdays, friends' birthdays, everything. School camp is coming up. It's like, holy shit, school holidays are over, and now we have to look at what's planned and duck and cover. I'll just run and hide and just things work out okay.
You were saying that you only realized today how hectic your schedule's going to get. So yeah.
So like as this month draws to an end and the next month starts to creep up on my calendar on my phone, it's like, oh shit, dentist appointments, kids' extracurricular activities. It's like, oh my god. So well. Apart from that, I've been learning new songs off the new Metallica album, which I'm quite proud of myself. Yeah, it's fun. There's some really cool, fun songs to play on there. So almost now the couple from start to finish, just have to work on some of the solo. But yeah, might post a video or two for my own amusement. Apart from that, I'm done. It's been a long day. Yeah. How you been, man? How was your birthday?
It was good. It was really good actually. So yeah, for those who don't know, it's my birthday on Monday, and had a really good day. I had the day off work, so I spent the day sort of chilling at home for a chunk, and then went out for dinner with my wife and kids, and also my family. So my siblings, my parents, and my siblings, so my nephews and nieces all came out. So it was a whole big thing. It's actually very rare to get all of us together in the same place in that sort of quantity, which was really cool because it's my last birthday in Melbourne for a while. So it was nice to get that one and tick the box. That was really, really cool. So I had a really, really good day. That kind of topped it all off. Got some nice presents as well. More technical stuff for me to have behind the scenes, which is always fun. But yeah, so just got some goodies in that regard and had a good time with the family. Lots of alcohol was given to me, which is always good too. So people know me well.
Damn, jealous.
I know, Dave, you poor bastard. We'll have to spring you some drinking money, I think. But yeah, then Tuesday rolled around and actually spent more time with my family, my siblings again on Tuesday. We went out and saw the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's not bad actually. It was pretty cool. I haven't been to the cinemas in I don't know how long. And for me and my siblings to get out together and to do that, just to hang out with no kids running around and all that sort of stuff was actually, I don't know the last time it happened, to be honest. It'd be fucking years. So that was cool as well. Just a little bit of a random sort of Tuesday afternoon thing, just as a little tack on. So I'm milking it. I'm trying to take the most, or make the most of the time I have in Melbourne left, which is only a few months to go before we're out of here. So yeah, that's what we're sort of doing at the moment. And now it's after that, it's sort of back into the grind. I'll quickly touch on the footy just very, very quickly. But Collingwood got up by with like a 40-point turnaround, which was absolutely fucking remarkable watching the game. So I was like, I thought we were done at 3/4 time, and then we turned around and won it. So I had a very good birthday, quote unquote, extended weekend. So I was pretty good. Aside from that, same old, working away, doing the grind. Had a few extra drains on time this week, so we're back to the regular swing of things next week with the concept albums. That's just why it's just been, like I said, making the most of the time down here before I do head up north, and it's just all work after that anyway. So there'll be more to come. I'm very, very sure of it. But no, everything's good. Cannot complain about a single thing in the world right now. So I'm doing very, very good. So thanks for that. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, here we go. Conrad Thor is in the house. Good to see you, Thor. We'll get you into the stream next week if you're available. So that is going to be a very cool bit of fun to have there. Stephen's here. Happy birthday, Andrew. Thanks for that, mate. Appreciate it. And evening, Dave. So there we go. That's from Stephen. Guy is here as well, saying, hi, Rockers. My kid and son-in-law flew to Australia yesterday. Oh, wow. What part of Australia they go to? That'd be cool to know. What part? What let us know where they went. And hopefully having a good time here in this country. Vinny's gone, let your hammer hang out, mate. I'm not going to be brutal on it. It was just a cracking game to watch. Sonia's gone, Vinny Vincent go pie. So it's going around too. Man, family, good to see you again after a while as well. G'day, all. Good to see you as well. And Sonia's saying hi to Steve there in the comments too, which is cool. Alrighty. Let's get into some new music. Okay, let's talk about some new music to kick things off here, Dave. Let's do your one first, actually. Like I said, in the description, there's a link to all these sort of things for reference tracks, but in the comments now, I'm also going to share a link. I'll share links as we go through. This is the latest from Elegant Weapons, which happens to be a little single called Do or Die. Available on all your platforms now, so go and check it out. Now, Dave, if I'm correct, this is from the album Horns for a Halo, due on May 26.
I believe it's from an upcoming album, so yes, that's probably the title.
So Horns for a Halo, due out on May 26th. This is the quote unquote side project, I guess, of Judas Priest guitarist Richie Faulkner. So that's the preamble. Dave, why'd you pick this one this week?
I came across this completely by mistake on YouTube. Just like, oh, this could be cool. Hit play. Cool. Oh yeah, this is fucking cool. Yeah. Had no idea to start with that Richie Faulkner from Judas Priest, wasn't it? Or Ronnie Romero from Rainbow was on vocals. Yeah. Very cool. So if you like old school heavy metal, done very well, this is definitely for you. Great hook in the chorus, great performances. You would expect nothing less from these guys. Everything you want from this style of music. They're not reinventing the wheel, but they're certainly doing it really, really well. And songs cracker. There's another song out from the same band. It's on Spotify. Cool. Yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to the album I drop. So it was a pleasant surprise to come across this band. And it gets extra points because there's a decent amount of flanger. So,
As always, Dave, with a flanger effect. Yeah. Oh, I really dug this song. I thought this was really cool, actually. I think for me, that if there was, there shouldn't be by now, surely, but just in case there was any doubts as to Richie Faulkner and why he was the man tapped to become the guitarist in Judas Priest, this song kind of shows it off. It gives you everything you want from Priest riffage, but there's some great flash in there too. It's not a Priest song, but you can just hear there's a Priest part, and then there's all this other bits to it as well. Like it's Richie Faulkner stuff, but you can just hear why he was, picked to be the new guitarist, or a quote, I guess, new guitarist these days in Judas Priest. Ronnie Romero is in so many projects, I don't know where to fucking begin. It's actually kind of cool. Like I know he got his, he was in Rainbow, but Ronnie Romero seems to be a bit of a hit and miss kind of vocalist for a lot of people. I've loved what he's done in a number of things. From memory, I believe he was the vocalist on War of the Worlds Part 1, which is not the one we talked about last week, Dave. It's a different one. But he's been in so many projects. It's not funny. And everything he's done, I've actually really, really enjoyed. Yeah, some people just sort of found it a bit too cloney. I think this one actually gets him to be himself more than anything else I've really heard him do before, which is pretty cool. And it's nice to see him get. I know he's worked with Rainbow, Richie Blackmore, sorry. He's worked with him, but I just think that working with Faulkner in a more contemporary style will probably allow him to hopefully get a little more recognition for all the right reasons with this band. Because, I think those two are a great pair on this song. Everything else around it fits great. It's a good metal song, loads of melody, loads of riffs, lots of energy, though. That's what I really liked about it. There's a heap of energy in that track, which is really, really fucking cool. So, yeah, looking forward to the album. Not far away now, actually. So, like, just under a month until it comes out. So, get keen, folks, and let us know what you think of it out there. Let's see if we've got any. Tony's gone, bet the Crows bet you. They probably will after that. We'll see how we go. The injury list for Collingwood is just fucking nuts, so I'll take whatever I can get at the moment. I did not expect to win at all. I was saying prior to answer day that I thought we would lose that game, so yeah. We'll see what happens, though. If we win, we win. I'm not going to complain. Guy says, I live in Buninyong. Never get that right, near Ballarat. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Rightio, so Victoria. Nice. Not far. About an hour and a half north of where we are here at the moment. There we go. Faulkner is a badass player also, and I dig it, which is cool. Some love there for that one. More love. Chris says, I love this song, so there we go. Getting some good points for this one. So nice pick already this week, Dave. Let's see if my pick for the week goes even half as well. So on that note, let's change gears. This is a gear change, as always. In the comments, in the description, as always, you're going to find a link to a track from a Melbourne band, the Black Skeleton, with the latest single from them, Swear. We've covered, I think, pretty much every single they've released up until this point, Dave. And for me, it's my pick of the week. So I was going through a few options this week with what I was going to pick. And this one jumped out because even though we've covered the band before, this is by far the heaviest track they've done. And I like it. If for those who don't know, it's got Quinn, formerly of Def Rhyme or currently in Def Rhyme, take your pick, but Quinn from Def Rhyme is the vocalist for this project. And this one, yeah, I love it. It starts off sort of a little bit morose, but then it kicks into gear. It's got a nice riff to it that I feel like Quinn's sort of getting a bit of his I'm drawing names blanks left, right, and center. But anyway, if you like Soundgarden, you'll like this song. Chris Cornell is the name. I'm trying to fucking draw it now. Yeah, it feels like he's getting a bit of a Chris Cornell vibe. If you like Soundgarden and the like, I was curious how Dave would go with this because Dave is not normally into the grungier side of things. And not that this is an exclusively grunge track, but there is definitely a sort of a feel and a vibe to it which ties into it. But for me, I actually thought that out of all the things that this outfit have released, probably my favorite track so far. And there's more meat on the bone, and it's just a really, really solid, gnarly, riffy song with some good, ballsy vocals. If you like it hard rocking with a grungy edge, then I think that this will probably appeal to a lot of people out there. And if this is more of a staple of what's to come from the project in the future, then fucking sign me up. I've liked what they've done so far, but this is where I'm like, okay, cool. I'm really going to get into this if there's some of this sort of stuff mixed in there as well. So I enjoyed it. Dave, how did you go?
Yeah, I did like this. And cool. As soon as you picked this band, I recognized the name. I was just like, yeah, we've done a few of their songs before. I was like, I've liked what they've done so far. So always keen to hear stuff from this band. It is a cool build how the song develops. I got more of a Miles Kennedy on the vocals.
Oh
I
wow.
thought
Okay,
his
cool.
vocals would sound really cool over Slash. I thought,
Nice.
yeah, it's got
That's a
that
fair comp.
tone that Slash has worked with. He's worked with Chris Cornell on his
Yeah.
earlier solo album, so
Yeah.
that style of singing is perfect for a Slash album. So
Yeah.
what's here? So if you like that, it's. I get what you're saying, grunge, but I also get the hard rock feel,
Yeah,
the classic
yeah.
rock. It's got that dirty feel without being like sleaze rock from the 80s or glam or anything. So it's got that
Yeah.
hard living
It's
tone
gritty.
to the
Yeah.
vocal. Yeah, gritty. Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, it's a cool song. I like the video too, having the young girl dressed like a cat kind of lip syncing
Yeah,
over it.
that's
She did an
Quinn's
awesome
kid.
job. It synced up
sure.
really well. But
Yeah.
yeah, a little bit at the end. Is that Quinn at the end of the video?
I believe so. I'll have to
Yeah.
double check.
Yeah.
It's him.
I just
Yeah,
remember him. I remember him in the Death Rhyme dreads like 30 years ago. It was like, oh,
yeah,
okay. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool. Cool song, cool video. I liked it.
nice. No, yeah, it's one of those things that it was one of those ones. We've been trying behind the scenes slowly on and off to maybe try and work out an interview with Quinn at some point. Hopefully, we'll line that up in the near future. But it's been cool watching this sort of project develop over the duration as well. It's had a few things sort of, but a couple of false starts in there too, kind of thing. But now I'm looking forward to this thing, hopefully sort of really hitting its stride now and getting on with it. So I really did enjoy this one quite a bit. Yeah. But then again, other people, not for me, sorry, from Guy. So there we go. But it depends on your mood that we give you. So at least you get one thing. This is the thing about the show. You'll probably find one thing you like and one thing you don't like every single week. And that's more than fine. That's the whole point. It's a journey we like to explore. Actually, Dave, you did better with this one than I thought on my initial instinct, which was cool, actually, because I did get a stronger grungy kind of Soundgarden-y vibe than obviously you did, but it's cool that you cross-reference Slash in that respect. So that, maybe gives other people a bit of a different reference to get into it from as well, which is cool. May I post a link to a song you don't know, a badass rocker by Danish Swedish outfit THRS. You can post it. I won't be able to link it up right now, but you can post it and I'll share it I'll try and find it. THRS. Let us know the name of the song, and we'll see if we can pull it up, which would be interesting as well. I'll queue it up for another session. Won't be able to have enough time to sort of sit here and filter through, but I'll make a note of it now. Let us know the name of the song too. There's a link there for those that are on Twitch to go and check that out as well. And yeah, I can't really copy and paste, unfortunately, from this platform. I'll have to go back over it. But no, let us know the song title and I'll go and check it out for sure. Alrighty. What else we got? We've got to do a gig plug. We've got to do a gig plug, don't we? So I've got that to do now as well. Booze Hound. All right, cool. Let me go through and just quickly see how this goes for me. There we go. 13 years ago this was released. All right, cool. I'll check it out later on. Thank you for sharing, but I have it open now. I'm sure you'll like it. I'm sure I will. It'll be cool. I'm keen to check out more. Always looking forward to checking out new music. But for now, here we go. Jeff has joined the waiting room, so we'll get Jeff in here in just a second. But before we get into that, let's do a gig plug here. This is in the link in the description and in the comments now. It's there. There's a link for it. But this is for Hell's a Rockin' 2. It's a music festival taking place on the 29th, so 2 days from now at the Central Club Hotel, which is a very cool venue, and it's a very cool little festival here. So for those who don't know, Hell's a Rockin' is the name of the album from, help me out, Dave, my mind is shot to shit tonight.
Right After Midnight.
Right After Midnight is the one. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I've got fucking tabs and shit open everywhere, so it's painful. Here we go. So, Hell's Rockin' is back after a huge day and night of rock and roll back in June 2022. The lads in Right After Midnight are bringing the party to Richmond with music, DJs, giveaways, drink specials, and much more. This is more than just your average music gig. It is an absolute epic party, and we can't wait to party with you all. Bands playing on the night. Check out this lineup, Dave. There is Dangerous Curves, Shotgun Mistress, Right After Midnight, Torrential Thrill, Her, Mark Mercy, The Krugers, Let Us Pray, King's Vengeance, and Zero City, all kicking off from 3 p.m. on Saturday. So that is one hell of a lineup, if you ask me. That is nuts. I don't know. What do you think of that, Dave, as a lineup?
That's a fucking great lineup. One of the best lineups I've seen in a very long time.
Yes. It's
partly due to
COVID. Yeah. And it's only $23, like $23.47 online to buy tickets. So it's like $25. Seriously. Fuck me. If you're looking for a gig this weekend, that's a gig.
Oh,
$25 to see Zero City King's Vengeance are an awesome three-piece. Let Us Pray, the Krugers are a cool little horror outfit. Mark Mercy, I have a funny feeling might be Mark from the Mercy Kills. I might be wrong, but that could be cool. Her, you got Torrential Thrill, who we know and love here at the show. You got Steve in the comments as well tonight. You got Right After Midnight, who are absolutely fantastic too. But then Shotgun Mistress and Dangerous Curves. That's just fucking what a way to wrap up that lineup. That is phenomenal. Kicks off 3 p.m. at the Central Club Hotel in Richmond. Tickets about $25. So get in on that, please, people. That is going to be a cracking gig. So enjoy the show. Guy's gone, we won't go with $200. Yes, he's here in just a second. Terry's gone, hey guys, just watched Top 10s 2022, loved it, and subscribed on YouTube. Thank you so much for that. Really do appreciate all the little subscriptions add up and help us a lot. I'm glad you watched the Top 10s of 2022. It's a longer one, but it's a lot of fun, that show. So yeah, we enjoyed it, and I'm glad that you enjoyed that one as well. If you are on our YouTube channel, there's a whole lot of stuff there to go and check out, so please do, and let us know what you think. Vinny's gone, looking forward to Crazy Town's next release from custody shortly. Fair dust up recently. Yeah, good enough fight to get him kicked off the tour as well, so not so well done to them. Bandmates fighting on stage is never a good thing, and it's one hell of a way to get yourself knocked off of a tour, which would have been a good tour for them as well. So sucks to be them, I guess. That's where you have a punching with your bandmates on stage. I didn't really like that band anyway, so whatever. Doesn't matter to me. Sonia's gone, RE Hell's Rock, and I'll be there and can't wait. There we go. That's a good one. If it's good enough to drag Sonia out, it's good enough to get anyone there. So please do go and check it out. Rightio. Let's do it. Let's bring the man in with 200 bells. Say hi to Jeff, people.
Hey, here I am, the man with 200 bells. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. I'm here. I swear, I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring them on sometime if you'll let me. I'm going to have the boxes.
Yeah, we should do it. We should.
They're all in newspaper from Canada, right? So I could be reading the highlights.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I know, eh? It's crazy.
That'd be something different.
It would be definitely different. Unique is the word, I think. Yeah. So how are you, lads?
Good. Sonia's already saying hello to you, mate. So she's going, hi, Jeff. So there we go.
Hey,
your name's spelled right too. So there we go.
Yeah, she did.
Not gee off. Right. Or gee off. But anyway, no, Dave, you were saying something then? You were saying you were good?
Yeah, I'm good. That's it. I'm good.
Oh, he's very good.
That was good. No, I'm very well, Jeff. How about yourself? How's your week been?
Great. I literally just finished work and so Dave messaged me. And I'm like, yeah, I'll be there in a second. So I had to run around like a blue ass fly to get everything centered, but I did. Yeah.
That's cool. Well done, man. Thank you for jumping in as always.
Fucking highlighted my week. I love it.
Nice. Sally's going, hi, Jeff, ding-a-ling. And then Vinny's also chiming, we all want to see Jeff's ding-a-ling. So this is becoming...
I never thought of that. Jesus,
I just thought the best intro music for Jeff. You know that scene in The Simpsons where the kids on stage singing my ding-a-ling? I want you to play with my ding-a-ling. Flip that, and then that's Jeff entry.
I'm gonna have to set up like our own wrestling entrances, and that's gonna be Jeff's. So that'll be...
Oh, wow. I tell you what. I've opened Pandora's box with that. Yeah,
you really have now. That is going to be a thing. That is definitely going to be a thing.
Ding-a-ling.
Nicole saying, "Hey Jeff," which is good to see as
hey,
well.
Nicole.
Good to see you. And Vinny's having a good old time with this one too. So having fun. For the record, Jody says hello to everyone, both here in the actual stream and also those at home. So give Jody a shout out when you get a chance to as well. But yes, I think. Did you have a chance to check out any of those two songs before? So Elegant Weapons or The Black Skeleton, Jeff?
No, I haven't. No, I didn't. I'm useless. But I was at work all day. I didn't have a chance.
That's all good.
Sorry, but I did most of my homework. Everything else is good.
Nice. That's all good. Conrad is here saying hi, Jeff. Sally's jumped in saying that song is by Chuck Berry. It's real. I have to check that out. And Sonny's saying hello back to Jody, which is cool. Same with Sally. So good to see some love for Jodes as well. Don't see her on the stream as often anymore. But yeah. That's what it is. And Sonya's also saying hello back to Jody, which is cool. All righty. What do we got here? What do we got to get through? We've got a few things here. Let's do the hot topic straight off the bat, just to really ease Jeff into things before we get to the the band pick, and then we'll do the underrated discoveries after that. So the hot topic tonight is something that Dave and I have sort of briefly, or I know that Dave and I have considered it over the last couple of days. I don't know where you're at with this one, Jeff, so I'll give you a minute to think about it. But were Metallica right, all these years later on, were Metallica right to sue Napster? Do we think that was the right thing to do in hindsight now? So, Dave, I know you've been considering it. What are your thoughts on this? Were Metallica right in the end?
Yep, 100% correct. I agreed at the time, and I agree more so now. We're 20 years on from when Napster reared its ugly head.
Just over.
And can anyone honestly say that the music industry is in better condition now than 20 years ago? I mean, people wanted music for free. I mean, it was okay because bands make their money from touring. That was one of the popular excuses at the time.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Countless tours have been cancelled because it's not financially viable. But that's okay. Bands make money from merch. Do they? Venues are taking a cut of every gig they do get to play. So their band's making their money. But it's cool because it helps bands reach a larger audience. But there's a lot more product being released or competing for that same audience. Yeah. So great. It's not making anything better. I mean, I know record companies were evil and screwed a lot of bands out of money. There's a lot of horror stories out there. You read biographies, you hear interviews.
Yeah.
But you're only hearing these interviews from these successful bands because they managed to build a career because their music was out there, thanks to record companies where they could tour, build a fan base, have merch. So I don't know, the old way might have seemed to be working. 20 years on, you know, the world has changed. The way we do things has changed. I don't like it. People wanted music for free. We're now seeing the consequences of that. I think Metallica were 100% right at the time. I know a lot of other musicians agreed with them, but didn't have the balls to put their face on name to it. Metallica copped a lot of shit in hindsight at the time. But in hindsight, I think they were 100% correct. But I'm just an old man. I'm over 40, and by today's standards, I'm obsolete. As much as I don't like things, it's up to the next generation to adapt, which they will. Every generation does adapt to new things. If it means stadium rock and mega successful bands where we have like 10 massively huge bands, that's probably a thing of the past. And it'd be changed for 30-second small clips on TikTok of a small tiny song, sampling cover bands streaming from their garages. If things are going to change, it might work. Could be cool. We've discussed that in the past. Not what I want, but like I said, I'm old. I'm obsolete. One of the things about aging, you know, everything you love and enjoy, if it becomes unhealthy for you, or gets replaced by something inferior. Sad but true. But yeah,
nice fun.
Yeah, people have started to adapt. I don't think we're going to see. Well, we're definitely not going to see the same levels of success of stadium bands. So
yeah,
that's cool. I like stadium rock. I'll enjoy it for the next 10 years, and then I think that's it. As soon as the Foo Fighters hang up their guitars, I think that's the end of stadium rock because they're probably the youngest band playing stadiums. Just get some bands playing arenas, and you're going to have festivals. But as far as that, but yeah, you know, Metallica said at the time that they were fine. They was trying to stick up for the younger bands. People were just like, yeah, fuck you, Metallica, you rich millionaires, and blah blah blah. But whatever. Yeah, I think they were right.
Cool. Well put, Jeff. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. I think I remember at the time. I mean, everyone was into it. I mean, you know, do you remember the cartoon Metallica good, Napster bad? Do you remember? Remember that? I mean, whoever. I mean, yeah. Look, Metallica copped. They copped it big time, right? And Dave was spot on. There was so many people coming out and saying, Metallica, yeah, you guys are doing a great job. All these other artists, right? But nobody came out and said it publicly. So they basically left Metallica to fend for themselves. But look, did Metallica have the last laugh? I think they did. I mean, they're still arguably the number one band in the world.
Yeah.
And so what has changed, right? They're still making gazillions of dollars. Maybe they're not making it in the same way they did before. You know, maybe their albums, like, you know, their new album, whatnot, maybe the last, who knows, 20 years or whatever, has hurt everybody's album sales because, you know, but
I don't know. Just to quickly interject on that one, there was some clickbait fucking lazy articles over the last couple of weeks, but they just missed out on like number one in the US, but they got their first number two in the UK for the first time in a long time. But when it came to 1 versus 2, they moved more physical units than the number 1 artist did in the US. So they're moving physical units more than anyone else.
I bought the CD. I don't buy CDs anymore. I held out for as long as I possibly could, but
I haven't bought it yet.
I buy Maiden CDs.
Yeah. You know, look, Metallica, I mean, I think they are laughing all the way to the bank because they own the company that actually produces and prints the fucking CDs and albums. So they're getting all the money. They're cutting out everybody, which is great.
They've done that from the start. Getting their masters was an unheard of contract deal at the beginning, but they got it.
Yeah. Well, Motley Crue did the same thing, but they just sold theirs last year to BMG Music for, you know, how many millions, 100 million, 200 million, whatever it was. So they made a big deal about it, and then they sold it. Metallica kept theirs. So, you know, hey, but look, what's that saying? You either die a hero or live long enough to become the enemy or whatever. That's the villain. Yeah, that is, if you think about it, that was sort of like Napster in the way everybody, you know, because how long was it after Metallica sued them that Napster went fucking belly up? It wasn't long.
Well, it was a consequence of the settlement, basically.
Yeah, and they just could not afford at that time. Napster just didn't have the money to keep it going. There was nothing oiling the gears. So, you know, but, you know, I read an article not long ago that essentially the owner, the CEO of Spotify was a huge Napster guy. He loved Napster, and he used the model that Napster was to create Spotify. So look what's happened. You know, Spotify, I mean, everyone's got Spotify now, regardless. You know, not everyone had Napster, but pretty much everybody has Spotify. So it inspired the next, you know. So you know, I've kind of gotten off track. Did I support Metallica? Yeah, I did. And but did I fucking download shit behind the back? Yeah, I did. So, you know,
we all did. No one didn't.
That's right.
No one didn't.
Yeah, I supported them. I thought, good guys, go. I guess I was just as bad as those fucking artists who all said, yeah, good job, and then didn't fucking back them. So I was a hypocrite as well. But yeah. Well, I mean, that's just another way of looking at it. But in all fairness, that's absolutely true. So,
there was the other thing too. I'm not sure. Were you in Australia when that went down, Jeff?
Yeah.
So, being in an Australian market, to get anything from overseas, if it wasn't readily available, you had to wait like 2 weeks for it back then. So it was like you weren't going to wait 2 weeks for a CD to be imported. You were going to go and listen to it. So that was just how it worked.
When I came out in 2000, so it was right around that time, you know, and I was here completely when Napster went bust. I remember watching them on the news. They were going to court and all that shit, and there were people outside, and you know, people were like. The funny part was that people were so pissed off at Metallica for taking a stand that they were doing album burnings in the fucking street.
I know. What the fuck is this shit?
I mean, what the fuck is going on?
It's just fucking dumb.
It's absolutely dumb. Like, you know, how dare you fucking charge for something that you made and you own? How dare you ask for money? Fucking hell.
I'm going to burn my own CD that I own to make a point. It's like I'm going to burn down my house because I hate my neighbor.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
That's a good way to put it.
It's you know, what's the old saying? You know, when you hate somebody or something, you drinking poison and expecting them to die, and you're the one who's fucking drinking the poison. Yes, the same thing.
Cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you have any more there, Jeff?
No, that's pretty much it.
I think, you know, 2020 hindsight is a wonderful thing. I agree that they were right to do it. I think the only thing that I would say that they erred on was the approach of getting, like, remember when they pulled up with the ute or the truck, whatever it was, with all the fucking user IDs or whatever it was, that they just started throwing these fucking reams of paper saying you couldn't find the people, we found them for you, kind of thing. Now that was a bit of a dick move on Metallic's part. So when it became about targeting the individuals, or at least, you know, bringing them into it, kind of thing, that's probably where it went a bit haywire, because attacking fans is never a good result. That said, you know, we've had all those things. You know, you wouldn't steal a car. You know, those fucking video ads and stuff. You know, we've had all this thing for a long, long time. Now, It's all a very different world now between TV and music, with the advent of streaming when it comes to Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Netflix, Amazon, and all the rest. They're all there, and so it was a precursor. Now, what we've seen when we look back on things is that the devaluation of music as its own individual product. I don't agree with it. I don't bemoan it. I think it's just better to get on with it versus to worry about what has, the horse is gone. Like the Pandora's box is opened. The only thing left behind was hope. And that's about it now. So everything else is out in the open. It's all gone. It's all fled. So you may as well just sort of get on with it kind of thing. I've always been very pragmatic in that regard. But when it comes to the actual devaluation music, it's not a good thing. It hasn't helped anyone. And we've seen the impact of that now, I think now more than ever before. Since we said last week, we're talking about touring and that and all the cancellations. We've seen the acceleration of what was going to happen over sort of 10 to 20 years happened. A lot of it happened over the space of 2 to 3 years. So now we're seeing this rapid acceleration of people's consumption habits shifting, which now makes it harder for the artists to get their cut of it all. Now, there's a lot of people that play in this one. The venues taking the cut of the merch, the costs of everything going up for touring, the labels and companies like Spotify. Hey, I'm a consumer. I love Spotify as a fan, but they don't pay the artists the right way. So all these things there needs to be massive, major overhauls. But were Metallica right to sue at the time? Yes, because it was a line in the sand kind of moment. They had to make it understood to the average person that this is worth money to them because it takes time, effort, and money to put into it. It's like any other investment in the business. And the thing is, the reason it all kicked off was because of the single I Disappear. It wasn't even finished yet, but that got leaked and radio stations were playing it. So even though Metallica were a fan of bootlegging, which I think is great, bootlegging was the way to hand mixtapes and all that kind of crap around. That was all fine. But when there's something that's sitting in the studio vault being released and leaked and played on radio stations without the artist even finishing it or without their consent, that's where Napster really sort of kicked it off. And that changed the game too. I mean, how many more times have we seen things leaked? It became a marketing strategy after a while too, to strategically leak things prior to. It ended up becoming a catch cry for System of a Down when they had Steal This Album. There's all these things that have come out about it, but that sort of putting your flag in the ground moment, it was one of those times that, you look back and go, well, they hit the nail on the head because all the things they said were coming have sort of happened in one way or another. So now it's a case of what happens next. We can have a whole topic on what happens next. I don't think we need to go into it. I think the question basically is, were Metallica right? And I think, fundamentally, yes. It's hard to disagree with it now. I think, like I said, they put some missteps in there going after individual fans the way they did, and that made it a bit harder to be on their side. But were they right to do it, the actual lawsuit itself, and put Napster out? Yes, and Napster, for all it's worth, I know that I think Lars and the guy that started Napster are actually friends and stuff now, which is all good. Right. Like that's a great thing. But it's funny how in the end of it all, even though Napster tried to become a streaming service, it didn't work, and that's all completely gone now, I think. So it is what it is. But it did become. It's one of those moments we'll all look back on at the end of the day, and he who laughs last laughs best kind of a thing. Metallica, like I said, are still laughing all over the bank, and Napster are dead. Metallica are going strong, and history will show that they were right as well, which will make it even more interesting for the band. It's another thing to add to their legacy overall. But it's an interesting one. I know a lot of people were angry at the time, but when you look back 20 years later, it's hard to argue that they were wrong. Let's see what the comments have to say on it. David's here saying, "G'day, rockers. Hope all is well. Rock on. We are all very well. Hopefully you are too out there." Darren saying, "Hi, Jeff and Jody." Nicole's laughing at over 40. Yes, I know that some of us are younger than others here, Nicole. Gears gone, hello, all Viking warriors. We hope all like the new album. Hail to the King from Viking Queen, and hope to see you all soon. This is the link for the new album. Okay, awesome. There's a link in Facebook to go and check out the new album. I haven't had a chance to yet.
It's good.
Oh, nice. Cool. Just checked it out. Nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
It reminded me of Blind Guardian.
Oh, nice.
It had a very Blind Guardian feel, sound to it. I think I mentioned at the time the production was a little, well, I mean, they don't have millions of dollars to spend.
Exactly.
So you could hear that. But regardless of that, you had that very Blind Guardian. Yeah, I liked it.
Cool. Nice. Well, people, get onto it. Check it out. I've got to check it out myself. I've got to do that now. David says, I bought a CD a few weeks ago. Ted Nugent, Cat Scratch Fever. Nice choice. Vinny says, I still buy CDs. It's almost like a little trophy for me as a fan of that particular artist. Spotify feels a little empty for me in the physical sense. I agree with that. A lot of us all still love our physical collection. physical collections are always great.
Yeah.
Tony says true music fans will always buy physical copies, and the fans seem to be turning to vinyl as vinyl sales were higher in the US in 22. The funny thing is that they did a study, and it looks like about half of people buying vinyl don't even own a vinyl player.
Yeah.
So it's
that actually makes a lot of sense.
But that's actually kind of cool at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
I actually think that's pretty cool personally. They're buying something to support something, even though they can't fucking play it. That says a lot to me.
Which means, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. But that means is that there's going to be there'll be a company out there going, you know what? If people are buying LPs, they're not playing them. I bet they'll do the same thing with fucking 8-tracks and shit. And there'll be 8-tracks. You'll see. I mean, who the fuck would want to play an 8-track today? But as a collector's item, I'd definitely love to have them for sure.
Well, they're releasing things on cassette, so it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 72
I
seasons.
don't think anyone who buys a record but doesn't have a record player, it's just like, look at me. I got an album. I don't like music, but I'm cool.
I actually take the other way. I think they wouldn't buy it. I think it's an expensive prank or an expensive sort of humble brag. I would say people are buying it to support the artist more directly, but it's interesting how that's happened. But yeah, like you said, I think that the collector's market is there, as well as the 8-tracks will definitely come back, but cassettes are already coming back into vogue again too, which is mind blowing to me. But it is what it is.
It's like fucking bell bottoms. Are you kidding?
Cassette to the bell bottoms of the music world. There we go. You heard it here first.
They were good in the 80s. But we had CDs. Come on, CDs. I love CDs. Come on, they're great. You know.
Yeah.
CDs are fucking great. And they're a lot cheaper than fucking records.
And they don't get chewed up. How many times you fucking get all chewed up and you're like, oh, fuck, you got the pencil out and you're trying to put it all back together.
The pain of the pencil.
Scotch taping the fucking... Oh, come on. It's fucking ridiculous.
It wasn't fun at all. Not fun at all. Especially when I got twisted. That was fucked up too. David says, true that. I forget which part that was in reference to, but
it's all true.
There. It's all true. Everything we're saying is true, always. Darren says, Lars copped a lot of shit over taking on Napster. Yes, that's true. Chris says, I stole a car once. It had Mars Roberts on cassette tape in the deck. Win-win. Well, there you go.
Nice.
We don't endorse that, but well done.
Yeah, that's a good job.
Did Metallica come after you? Give us a fucking tape.
It was a low-jacked car with Metallica fucking tape in it.
Yeah, imagine getting arrested for the fucking tape, not the car, you know.
Oh man, that'd be fucking hilarious. That'd be a story to tell, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Gear is saying, I agree. Spotify is fucking bullshit for us. It can be painful. It can be very, very painful. Well, Tony's gone. There was a song in the 80s called Video Killed the. Well, yes, we all know what happens after that. That's a thing. Chris says Metallica were right in principle to stand up for the value of music. Their method was terrible, but in hindsight could have only changed that method. Yeah, that's true. So yeah,
their method was terrible, but there was no playbook. They were playing it by ear. They literally no one had ever done this, right? So yeah,
and they were on their own, which is the important thing to remember too. Though it was basically the band and a lawyer taking on the social zeitgeist of the time when it came to getting your music. So it was an unheard of moment. We haven't had anything like it since either, to be honest. I think the closest we've come is maybe the standing up of artists against venues taking cut of the merch now. I think it's taken 20 plus years to get another point, and it hasn't even been as strong a thing as this. It's just there's been more artists talking about it. So I think artists are starting to push back in general, but it's taken 20 years on the back of this one to sort of, get that going on.
Nowadays, what are they going to put? I mean, can you imagine if an artist come out now and actually publicly, I mean, they have, but not like Metallica did with Napster, and said, look, all these streaming services, we're getting fuck all. And then they took a stand and said, take our music off there, whatever. I mean, people would go crazy again. I mean, how dare they? It's like how dare you ask for money something you created? Because I mean, Apple were the first, I think one of the big ones, right? When after Napster, right? The dumpster fire that happened after that, then Apple jumped on with Apple Music, right? Or was it iTunes? It was iTunes at the time.
iTunes,
now it's Apple Music. And it wasn't subscription based. It was basically if you wanted something, you had to pay for it. One album at a time. Now, I mean, they've seen the error of their 8 ways, and they're making all the money now with subscription, So that's where the artists get fucked.
Yeah. it'll be interesting where things will go in the future as artists. Like, as there was, so I think that the first two Priest albums ended up back in more control of the band recently as well. So it'll be interesting to see where bands there'll be a demarcation between bands like Motley Crue who sell their rights. Other bands will do what they can to buy back their rights. It'll be interesting to see what happens to legacies over the next sort of 30, 40, 50 years, thinking in those time frames as to how music is going to split in that world. It'll be really interesting to watch it play out, assuming I never sit here long enough to see it. But it'll be just interesting to see what happens in that regard, where it's going to go next with all that sort of stuff too. Guys here saying, yo, Jeff the Bells Canuck guy. So there we go. More love for Jeff there. Darren is saying, still buy vinyl and CDs. We all love doing it. Nicole says, I would pay good money to be over 40 again. But following that, yeah, I still buy a vinyl if I feel it's worthy these days. And that's a good point too. And that's the thing, is there is much more choice out there as well, which is, a good thing for the consumer. So the consumers are winning.
It was cool buying records in the late 90s, early 2000s when you went to specialist shops, because they were like $5-10. Now they become fucking hip and they're worth like 80. So
it's a bit of a different game, yeah. But yes, I don't know how to justify that. But obviously inflationary issues are a part of it. But I think that as production starts to ramp up again, those costs will eventually come down in time, but it won't be anytime soon.
Well, they might come down, but
people are willing to pay it. No record company is going to drop it.
Well, I don't know about the quality of it, but we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. What do we got here? So I'll continue on. Video killed the radio star. The modern version is the internet killed the music industry. I just finished off what Tony said before. Yes, that is very true in a lot of respects. The music industry is struggling in every single facet right now. So we're really entering, because it used to be touring would work, and then you had the singles, then it became albums, and then it'll become a promotional cycle. Now there's just, it's harder and harder. I think there is a method. The artists or bands that engage with their core fan base more over the next 5-10 years are the ones that are really going to win long term. It's the attitude of taking, instead of trying to win the charts and win 1 million people and play the arenas. I think if you want to be sustainable and have things going well for you, you've got to get 1,000 people that really love your brand. If you can do that, I think you can win. And that applies to anything pretty much. If you can do 1,000 people that really love you, you can do a lot with that, because they'll do a lot of the social work for you. If you get the pitch in between $50 and $100 a year into your brand, you're getting, $50,000 to $100,000 turnover. Things start to become viable at that point in time. So that core thing, the ones that are able to really focus, we are seeing examples of it. Bands like Red Hook are doing really good things in the digital world. Almost exclusively, but then at the same time, Orpheus Omega are releasing things, limited edition vinyls, while having their music on streaming. So there are ways to do this one. The younger bands are learning faster than the older bands. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next and how these bands are doing well as independents without losing anything along the way. So it's a tough space right now, but I think the next generation coming through are really going to shake the whole thing up, and the dinosaur labels are going to fucking die off, and that'll be probably the best thing for everyone at the end of the day, I think, ultimately. Yes, we'll see. What do we got here? Sorry, guy says the vinyl buying could be virtual signaling. It's an expensive virtual signal these days. I don't know where it is, what it's like over there, but over here it's like $70-$80 for a good vinyl. It's pretty expensive to do it. And especially with things being the way, and with the economy being the way it is, I don't think people are doing it. If people can afford to do that virtue signaling, I don't think they care if they've got that much money. Like, I don't think they care about virtue signaling at that point in time. So,
look, I mean, we all remember when albums started to die. I mean, when albums were dying, right?
Yep.
They couldn't give the fucking things away.
Yeah.
And now that it's come back around, they're just cranking the price up. So I mean, it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's an interesting little cycle we're in at the moment. We'll see where it'll settle down over the next 5 years or so, but it's going to take some time yet. Don't expect a quick settling of this market at all. Here we go. Basher says, long live records. It's better if you play it, CDs and live music. Yes, we all agree with that one there. Tony's chimed in with 8 tracks will make a comeback when Safari suits to. Hey, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Darren says, fuck cassettes. They're a pain in the ass. I don't know anyone that likes the cassette as a medium. I don't. No. And Nicole says, iconic pair, cassettes and HB pencils. HB pencils. Wow.
Yeah.
It's going back.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
They worked in hand.
Oh, Chris says it was a low jack Datsun 120Y.
That's why.
Oh,
there you go.
That is impressive. That is impressive, man. Well done. He also says people are getting into buying vinyl without a player because big ass records of full size cover is cool as fuck. They will still choose to listen to Spotify. That's the thing too. I think actual artwork is one of the gateways into things now. In the Instagram world, having good artwork is a great thing. Underrated aspect of the modern age of music. I think artwork is now more important than ever. That's 72 Seasons. It's yellow with all the toys around the cotton. That stands out.
It does stand out. I mean, it's kind of gaudy, but it does stand out. Yeah.
You walk through anywhere and you'll see it straight away. It's going to get your eye.
That's right. Because you can imagine, they could have taken that same photo and it could have been any other fucking color.
Red,
gray, black, green, yellow, just bang, right in your face.
Yep.
You're right. Spot on.
Straight away. Very, very smart. So that's where you know that the visual medium is still very, very important. I think we get more and more of that too. Also, got to give credit to, and Metallica. This is where bands can.
A new striper.
Sorry. Yeah, well, actually, that would be an interesting world. But the other side of the coin too is Metallica did something very clever too by having a podcast they did themselves about the Black Album and that as well. So getting into that arena, storytelling kind of things, that there's more that artists can do with the tools at the disposal.
That was a good listen too, and I actually learned some stuff I didn't know about the Black Album.
Yep.
Like what?
The reason that James could sing freely on that was because all the albums up to that point had multi-tracked vocals. Because he didn't feel his vocals were strong enough, so he multi-tracked everything and therefore did everything one line at a time. And he didn't have much room to play around with his vocals because he had to multi-track it. So Bob Rock got him a good sound, which enabled him to free up his voice a lot.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So multi-track. So that was fascinating.
That is cool.
Use of studio can be very, very good for bands. If you know how to do it right, getting a good headphone mix is pivotal to a vocalist. Absolutely pivotal to a vocalist.
I heard something about Bob Rock today. It was really, I don't know how true it is, but there was something that leaked about Bob Rock, and that it's probably bullshit. It's probably just a fucking clickbait fucking story, but it was that some word came out that Motley Crue and Bob Rock were teaming up again. Only this time
they are.
But Bob Rock is playing the bass on the new album.
Nah, there's no way Nikki Sixx is going to let that happen.
Well, you he wouldn't let it happen. But what if it was true?
Next Motley Crue album is going to sound like Saint Anger.
Look, Nikki Sixx has never been known as a bass player. I mean, he plays bass, but he's not he's no Billy Sheehan. Like, come on, right? Like he's like, don't, come on.
He's good at what he does. Yeah,
well, yes, I suppose he is good, but Motley Crue was never known as a technical band anyway, so there's that. But you couldn't take him.
Self-titled album sucks.
Like he couldn't fucking fill in Primus. Like, can you imagine Nikki Sixx in Primus?
No. Well, see, this is where, when it comes to Motley Crue and the level of talent, let's just say that John Five has certainly raised the bar. By a fair
certainly
margin.
Has. Well, I think Mick Mars is a great guitar player. Really underrated.
Yeah, I think he's underrated.
John Five is a virtuoso,
John Five's
really.
A beast. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay. Anyway, not a fan of that whole thing. I put him in the bin last week. I'm not going to drag up old ground again, but fuck him at the moment. It's just the whole thing's a fucking mess. This is a common one here from Brendan. He's gone, I use Spotify to find and check out new music, and I buy it if I like it. And that's what a lot of people used to do with the old downloading stuff, which is true. People did that back then too. It's very much a try before you buy world, especially when there's so much choice and when, it used to be a thing where you go to the shop and choose an album to buy every week. Now you can listen to everything and then buy what you like the most, which I think is it's just consumerism working at its best way possible. But remember, the reason why music in a lot of this is a different topic now, but music is more disposable these days because you can spin it and toss it away and not care about it anymore if it's digital. Back in the old days, when you have to go and buy it, you invested in the album, which made you play it until you liked it, kind of a thing.
Correct.
You hated buying a CD that you didn't like.
That's right. Otherwise, you felt like you were just the biggest loser on the block. I just went out and spent my last $10 fucking dollars, my only fucking $10.
Yeah,
because I was getting an allowance or something.
Yeah,
and then you got something. I remember doing that exact same thing with a Armored Saint album. It was Delirious Nomad. Okay, I liked the cover. I thought it was kind of cool. And I liked, Armored Saint. And I bought this thing. I went, what a fucking crap this album is. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it,
wow.
but I forced myself to listen to it over and over and over until eventually I thought, yeah, it's great. You know, because I didn't. That
wanna waste the money.
$10 was that's right. You know, that's all I had, right? So yeah,
That's how it works.
yeah.
David says, "Fuck yeah, record covers are the best. Pulled out Sabbath Bloody Sabbath LP, love it because it's big, and that's the thing too. Everyone likes it. Yeah, everyone likes it when it's big, but no, to actually play a straight bat on it. No, it was it's very important. I think that's where cool album covers they look better on a vinyl thing when it's the size of it is just so much more appreciable than on a CD or a cassette. I think really started on that." You
know, yeah.
Nicole says it's an entitled society these days. That is a thing. But the trouble is, Nicole, that we all raised the entitled society, so we got to take our own little licks in that regard.
They would listen to us anyway, so it's not our fault. Okay, that was bad, and look what happened.
Yeah,
you listened to us, and now you're facing the consequences. I told you 20 years ago.
Yes. That's true. Iron Sky join us saying hello there too. Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well out there. I'm about 10 minutes behind in comments, so forgive me here, people. I'm going to try and scroll through quickly. Vinny says, I reckon in the future, kids will be born with USB ports as appendages and absorb music differently. Well, literally, if that's the case. Yeah. And Vinny says, especially as you get older and your eyesight weakens when it comes to album covers. Yeah, that's probably why all the people are buying vinyl. We can't see anymore.
Fucking Linux and CD.
Chris is waiting on 3 Foot Records. This is going well, this conversation at the moment. Here's another one, though. Tony saying postage is the killer when buying vinyl, especially from overseas. And there's nothing worse. People get their vinyl, it's warped on the fucking step, too. That's a shit fucking thing. And here we go. Nicole's chiming in with $60 for a secondhand record, for fuck's sake. That's a problem. That's not good at all. Yeah. Chris Rock, the George Martin of Metallica from Chris Aiken. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Yep.
Tony says, who didn't stare at their vinyl copy of Somewhere in Time for Hours? Oh my God, the Easter eggs. The Easter eggs for days.
Doctor Who, little TARDIS up there. I remember seeing
and that's the cool thing. If you do it right, that's why good artwork can really, have a big impact.
When we get off there, I'll talk to you later, Andrew, but the Somewhere in Time cover, there's a theory between that and Eddie from Stranger Things. It goes for a long time, though. But yeah, some fucking nerd came up with it and posted all these ideas and just like, it's actually so ridiculous it makes sense. Like,
I wouldn't actually be surprised. Yeah, it'd be interesting. All right, cool. I'll look forward to that one later on.
Truth is stranger than fiction, for sure.
Yeah, well, that is the way it works these days, especially these days. Nicole says Sabaton has a history channel that tells the true stories of the songs. Brilliant idea. That is the kind of thing. The offshooting of content is another way to engage your fan base. Thinking about being able to tell stories of one kind, be it your own or someone else's. There are ways that can do it. And Sabaton are a perfect man for that kind of thing. So I haven't checked that out, but that's a cool thing. Yeah. Brendan says the Metallica on vinyl is an average of just over $100 over here, and I was talking to a couple of store owners, and the wholesale price is $80 from Aussie distributors. Crazy. That's nuts. I didn't know how much the vinyl was, so I haven't paid attention. That's pretty fucking insane. That's a lot of money.
$34 for JB.
How much?
Wow.
$34 on CD, single CD. There used to be that price for double. A new release, back because I used to work at Big W, was what, $18.25. I think they were selling new release CDs for when they were on the charts back in the day. So yeah, new release CD is $35, $34.99.
Wasn't Hardwired to Self-Destruct? Wasn't it a double?
It was a double. Yep.
It was a double. And it's the same length. Remember, in fact, this album is
slightly shorter. Yeah.
So what's the deal there?
I don't know.
Well, JB Hi-Fi still had a pretty decent CD section back then. Now it's 2 bays in the far corner of the store around.
Now it's all fridges and shit. But yeah.
That's just, I don't know. What's selling money? And you sell one fridge, you just sold probably what you sell.
But, JB have to alter their business to stay.
Well, that's a symptom of everything else, though. It's just another symptom of everything else that's changed over the years. It is one of those things. Boutiques, small things will always be around, but if you want to be a big chain, you have to diversify. Otherwise, you are going to fall over.
Well, like supermarkets, you can buy fucking household shit in there, like lamps and
it's crazy.
I mean, what's going on? You're selling food.
Bunnings are selling dog food now. So, make of that what you will. Like, it's all over the joint. Everyone's trying to take each other's, bit of the pie, which, I get it. It makes sense. If people are in one, everyone wants to be a one-stop shop these days. It'll be interesting to see what happens over the next sort of, everything's changing. We'll have to see how it all plays out. And we'll all sort of yelling at
those hot dog things that they pass off as hot dogs. Some of them are pretty fucking dodgy, I'll tell you. I've been into them wet. I don't know what this is, but it tasted good.
Never think when you're hungry.
They're great.
Don't think when you're hungry. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't overanalyze. If you're hungry, you eat it, and it tastes good.
Well,
just go
exactly.
with
You know,
Unless
no
you're
one
vegan,
wants to know
you
what's in the
think
fucking
everything.
hot dog. Full stop. Once you see how it's made, you never eat them again. So
there's a saying:
close your eyes.
you don't see what goes into the hot dog or the dim sim, do you? So there you go.
Anything that's manufactured, once you see how it's made, you would probably wouldn't buy
Never
it.
eat it again.
I saw chicken nuggets, and that was enough to just put me off. Chicken nuggets. Oh my God!
Let's not. I haven't, so don't spoil it for me.
I love them too.
My
But,
joy.
oh my God! No. If anybody's curious out there, you have a look and tell me I'm not fucking crazy on that one.
I don't doubt you at all. I just don't want to know. That's where I'm
No.
at in that conversation. I don't want to know. Chris said Stig Peterson from DAD plays very simple lines on a 2-string bass. Rock doesn't need Billy Sheehan bass shred. No, that's true. I agree with that. But and that's why I said that Nicky is good at what he does. So it just needs someone to hold it down. It just needs to be good at it. But when it comes to they are. But when it comes to spinning albums, Chris also said, not always. I bought Freak Show by Bullet Boys, and no matter how many times I played it, that thing still sucked. So there we go. Some albums just can't win you, unfortunately. That's when it really hurts. When you put it in, you listen, you try, and it doesn't work, which sucks. Here we go. Scott says hello from Canada. So there we go.
Hey.
Hello, Canuck. How you doing?
There we go.
I'm Canadian.
I'm not your buddy guy.
Here we go. Dave's going to be triggered, and off he goes. So yeah,
I'm on strike.
Nicole says, "Not me. Mine's only 14." What would that be in reference to? I'm trying to think now. I can't go back far enough.
Inches?
All right.
I don't know.
I was thinking
that could be anything in this conversation tonight.
I do.
Let's leave that one alone. Vinny says money does buy happiness. Convince me otherwise. Well, it can, I guess. I don't know.
Of course it does. Gene Simmons is 100% right. Was Gene Simmons right to collect money? Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Darren said, try reading the booklets from CDs. Much easier on LP. Yes, again. That's that's the problem with the eyesight fading. Sorry, mate?
It used to be easier reading the booklets 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's not the same anymore.
See, and you can read the booklets while you're driving, but don't do it with a fucking album. You're fucked.
No.
End of story. Because I would do that. I would fucking put the album thing on my lap.
You're driving along, singing along to the phone. You want the fucking lyrics.
The thing is, now you can have Spotify open; it'll scroll the lyrics through for you. So
I know.
There's a positive, I guess, in terms of society. Iron Sky giving us some love, which is good to see. Thank you for your kind words. Love your work too with the music as well. But they've also said on the subject of hard copies, if you can, it's not a bad idea to go out and buy all your favorite stuff on CD, as it's getting harder and harder to do so. That is very true. It is getting a bit trickier these days. I went and bought a lot of my favorite records on CD to do a true 16-bit 44.1 wave mix comparison, and a lot of big records not even available in store at my local JB. That's a thing too. That is there. It's an interesting sort of development in how things are qualitatively getting harder to find, and then what you do find may not be the best quality either. So it's a bit tricky.
Well, the CD collection from JB used to be so vast and varied. You had the whole collection so much, but the vinyl still very, big name albums. Deep dive into a catalog.
But this is where. Again, bands that connect with their fans and fans will buy direct from the band. I think that's the best way to go about it in the future. So we'll see how things balance out in the end. But yeah, we'll see. I think that'll also be cheaper for the consumer because you're not paying for employee wages and insurance overheads and all that kind of nonsense. But you're cutting all that shit out. So if you can buy direct from the artist, you probably save a bit there too if you can. On that note, Chris says Metallica is 110 on vinyl at JB.
Out of here.
Crazy. I'm not doing that. Sorry, I love it, but I'm not doing that.
No.
CD will do. CD sounds great.
That's it. Vinny says onions on top at Bunnings. Yes, completely agree.
Yes.
Not underneath.
100%.
Completely on top. Yes.
Take your life into your own hand, God damn it, and show some responsibility.
Here we go. This is where it's going to be interesting. Darren says won't pay over $50 for vinyl or over $35 for CD. And that's where once the market gets set by the consumer, if it stays that way, then the price will have to come down because they're not going to hold that stock. They're just not going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the problem is people will buy them. Like people don't go, oh, and they'll just say, okay, fuck it, and they'll buy it, right? So that sends a message. We can keep these prices high. We can keep the prices.
Depends
like
how much. Yeah, but if they're left with stuff they have to put bargain bin level, and it's to get rid of it, then that will change over time because they're going to start to lose out. And it shows you how little they can sell it for and still make their markup on it.
Yeah.
So
I would be curious to know what like the markup on $110 LP from Metallica would be at JB.
Have to be high. Have to be high.
It would be crazy high. I bet they're getting it from wherever for $10 and they're jumping it up $100. There's no way they're buying that for like $90.
No, not for 90. I would put $50 tops. Yeah,
you
I'd
reckon
put
it'd be
$50 top.
Oh, I don't know.
I'd set it at top level. That way they're still making 100% plus on the top. There's no way they're not marking up for less than 100% for less than.
Yeah. No.
So,
but yeah, it'd be interesting to know. I mean, any insight
I would like
out there? I would like to know.
Troy says shops are using the Tesco model. Think of a Coles, a Bunnings, and a JB Hi-Fi all in one store, and then you have Tesco. That's pretty much where it's going. We're just a bit slower here to get there, but it'll eventually happen that way. All the stores are trying to do the same thing here. It'll be interesting to see what happens over the next sort of coming time.
Well, Tesco is from England and stuff like the American equivalent is Walmart. Unfortunately, you do not want them fucking here at all. They're terrible.
No.
You know what they did? I mean, they come into a town. They basically drop the prices on everything. So all the local businesses can't compete, right? So eventually all those local businesses go out of business. The town goes bankrupt and then they pack up and leave.
Yeah.
And they go on to the next town. I mean, they're destroying it's just not good.
No, there's some
do that with a lot of different places because they're a massive store, they could undercut and sell below cost just to get people into the store. So stuff like drink slabs, so 24 cans of Coke, chocolate, nappies, televisions, dog food, all in strategically placed parts around the store to get people to walk past the stuff that they would have to buy on impulse that you need, that you want, and that's how they make their money. Get people into the store, and by doing so, you put out of business the smaller companies selling the nappies,
because they can't afford to do that, right?
They can't afford to
drop the price. Yeah,
so that's how photos as well. Back 20 years ago, you sell, develop your film a lot cheaper. It sends all the other companies out of business.
I watched the documentary on it. It was shocking. Like Levi's jeans, right? So just take Levi's for everyone wears Levi's or whatever, right? So Walmart would they would reach out directly to the manufacturer, right? Say like a smaller mom and pop shop or on the main street or whatever, they might buy a few hundred copies of those jeans, right? Maybe over a year. Walmart will buy 10 million of them. And because they're buying so many, they get them for next to nothing. And then they turn around and they make their profit and nobody else can compete with their prices. And you just eventually you just go bankrupt. And then you're out of work. You're putting pressure on the because now you're on fucking welfare. Because you can't literally afford to live. And then so they go, well, there's no money to be made here now. Let's leave.
Yeah, move on. Yeah,
and this is happening all across America.
No, we'll see. Hopefully here it doesn't quite take the same effect.
Well, I hope they never come here. To be honest, I really hope they don't come here because they'd even put Costco out of business.
Yeah, which is
and that's shocking. That's a shocking thing to think. Yeah, but that's how much money they have.
Yeah,
can of worms. So, I'm sorry.
It is. Well, that's all right. Nicole's got about. Sorry, the 14 was raising kids. So there we go. So that makes more sense
kids?
now. Thanks. No,
wow. Holy fuck.
Well, I don't think so, but if that's the case, well done. But I think it's more to do with the age than anything else.
Nice, young boy.
Wow. That'd be like you'd be shutting things off at that point in time, surely. Vinny is sharing with us. Vinny is sharing with us. Parmesan cheese is made using the stomach lining of baby calves. Well, there we go. As long as I can handle reading it, I just don't want to see it. Guy says Stig is cooler than cool. That is very, very true. Not going to disagree there. Chris says blame Canada. We all blame Canada here.
Everyone does. Yeah.
Yep. Guy says vinyl has a certain smell to it as well. Yeah, there is things like that too. There is a certain thing to that. I will completely agree. Random one here. Scott says, is there anything you can do about getting Irwin and Rusty to kiss and make up? Them two made some of the world's best rock and roll. For those who don't know, we're talking about Electric Mary at this point in time, the Down to the Bone album. And prior to that is where that references to. They did actually, to a point at least, kiss and make up a little while ago, because I did a celebratory show where Irwin actually took the stage and played a few songs or a gig or something with the band a couple of years ago now. So I don't think there's bad blood per se. I think there's actually probably more bad blood between Venom and the band these days than there is between Irwin and Rusty. But it'd be cool to see if they would write new music. But I think Rusty's pretty happy with his lineup these days, and the band are, I think, doing new stuff soon. They have a single out earlier this year. No, late last year, I think it was. But that was pretty bloody cool too. So that's a recent single. But yeah, no, they've done some very, very cool things over the years. But that was a cracking lineup. That pair together was fantastic. You're dead right there, Scott. So yeah, nice. To answer the actual question directly, no, there's nothing we can do about it. So I know Rusty. I don't know Irwin, so I can't say much to where Irwin's at. But Rusty, yeah, I have contact with Rusty. Rusty's a good guy. I've got a lot of love for Rusty. He's very, very cool. But yeah, we'll see what happens. You never say never. They did just celebrate like the 20th anniversary of the band as well. So we'll see what happens over the next sort of coming years with that band in particular. Hopefully more to come soon. Conrad says, no matter how many times you play Lulu, it doesn't get any better. I played it once, lasted 5 songs. I shall avoid it at all costs. There are some albums that are just the less said about them, the better. We'll put it that way. What do we get? Chris says, think what happens to the onions and the tube stuffed beaks and feet snags when it hits your mouth. The order is irrelevant. So...
Fuck, I'm hungry.
I actually am. Yeah.
Yeah, well, here we go. Oh, yeah, well, you got off work, so yeah, we'll try to get you back to dinner sometime soon. And Chris says, I still have nightmares about Sananga. A lot of people do. But Vinny says, markup used to be 27% back in my day when I worked at Sanity Music Store at Northland in Preston, late 90s. That's gone back a fair bit. So yeah, we're talking sort of 20 to 30 years ago. 27%. I reckon the markup be well over 100% these days. To be honest, I think the gouging has just been nuts. I'd like to know.
Yeah, I'd like to. It really would.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know. Yeah, Darren's got a point. His supermarkets did it with the butchers when it came to the putting people in and out of stuff. Also putting people out of business, which is true there.
Yeah.
Darren says probably between $40 to $50. I think the cost entry level is what that was referring to when it came to what they're getting it for. Edge Crushers, good to see you again too. JB had a 20% off last Friday for record day. $88 for the latest Metallica is still a ripoff. Well, there we go. That's still big. That's still a big lot of money to blow for one album. Guy, Big 4 fantasy band thingy today. Yes, we're getting to that very, very shortly. We are. That is the next thing on the ticket, so we are getting there. So bear with us for a minute longer. Chris also said the best thing Earl and Russ ever did was Pain by Mother Hubbard. Stunning song. Nice. Very good. Nice deep cut there. Cool. Back to the Parmesan cheese. Bash says, nice. I'm pouring heaps of Parmesan on my spag. So there we go.
Did he put you on?
Yeah, I love it. It's always a good time when that sort of stuff happens. Tony says, I got a vinyl from a mate's band at cost price, small volume at 500. So 500 copies made it by the distributor was $30. So yeah, you can get them. Yep. I think local bands are still selling between $30 and $50. So it shows you what it's sort of worth. And that's for a profit for a local band too, by the way. So kind of shows you it is a big fucking rip-off these days. Nicole says, I have one son and the hubby has 4 daughters, 1 boy. There are 11 grandkids. He marries his first wife young. We're both 52. Wow. You're doing well there. Wow.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
that's
nicely done. That's a big family.
Yeah.
That is got to be. You got to be. I actually like hearing things like that because as long as you're all assuming you're all close and it's all good, that's just fantastic to hear because you want to hear about people having good health, good not wholesome, but good happy families. I guess is way to put it. So hopefully it's all going well there. I love hearing that sort of stuff. I mean, I just came off the last week spending time with my family, so I love that shit. Nicole says shipping for my business went up $17,000. Wow, that's a cost. I don't know what if you don't mind sharing, Nicole, I'd be interested to know what your business is. But yeah, shipping in general over the last couple of years has been fucking hectic.
Freight's gone way up.
Yeah, well, Dave, you know more about this than I do. But even for me in the industry I'm in, it's to get a hold of stock is painful and expensive these days. So yeah.
I've heard that part of it
Mm.
is due to a lot of cargo ships have been decommissioned because
Okay.
their emissions aren't up to target zero, or this target zero for all different countries saving the world and all that shit. So a lot of
Okay.
cargo ships have been decommissioned, which means there's a
Wow.
lot less space, which means companies are paying more to get their product
Mm.
on the spaces available. So they're not going to wear that cost, they're going to pass that cost on to the consumer. That's what
Yeah.
prices are going.
Okay.
Or it
Fair
could be
enough.
just greed. They could just be blaming it on the pandemic and
Yeah,
say shit,
well.
and then just
No,
charge
no,
what they want.
not pandemic, not the pandemic. No, it's part of that.
Yeah,
it's
No,
all-
but
it's
that's what I'm saying. That's an
any
excuse that
excuse.
they use,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any excuse will do. The war, the pandemic,
Yeah.
That's right.
the
Multiple things
target
at the moment.
zero. Yeah, it's any excuse to do when it comes to finding a way to raise your prices. I guess these days, especially these days, we're seeing it all over the place. I read somewhere that like the cost of a loaf of bread, like the entry level loaf of bread, is like gone up 60+% in the last 12
because
months.
the
It's
war in
fucking
Ukraine,
insane.
that's
Yeah.
right. Like,
Yeah,
come
like,
on, we
what?
get our
Fuck
wheat from
off.
fucking Ukraine. Come on.
A lot of the materials we use at work has gone up something like 800%. It's
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous.
It's nuts. It's crazy. On this note, Chris says 7.5 billion people. We know who to blame. Blame Canada.
Blame Canada.
Hey,
We'll take it.
there
We'll
we
take
go.
it. We'll take it all on board. Bring it on.
Yeah. Guy saying COVID is giant hoax. There's a lot of people saying that these days. But Nicole does sublimation products, which is we should talk because I do different print work at the moment as well. But sublimation products, I don't know if you do wholesale or if you just do applications yourself or what it is. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you actually do. Yeah, Guy says said it from day one. You've said it every week as well, which I appreciate sticking to your guns on it all as well. Alrighty, so we did. Speaking of Guy, we did get asked about the band, the Builder band thing. So I'm going to get my randomizer out now because we're going to talk about this. So for those who don't know, now I haven't updated the score. I didn't do another post, so I figured, fuck it, I'll do 2 this week to get the score updated. But I can at least get the ball rolling on getting another round done, which would be the cool thing here. So for those who don't know, we are doing this thing where week in, we've been building a supergroup out of the big 4 of thrash. So obviously talking about Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax. The rules were it's a blind draft and each one is unique. So once an individual is picked, they can't be picked again. So for example, last week, Jeff picked Dave Mustaine to be the rhythm guitarist in his supergroup band, which means that Dave Mustaine is off the board for everyone. None of us can take him again now. That's it. Dave Mustaine is gone. Every week it's been done at a random draw, so I'll hit the button soon and I'll randomly draw out who gets to go first. And the rules were you had to have at least 3 of the 4 bands represented in it, which means that for Dave and Jeff, I've done some reading here. You guys need to be a bit more strategic on what you're going to pick next to make sure you cover off, because you're leaving yourself not a lot of wiggle room when it comes down to.
Can you just
I got Charlie Benanti, Jason Newsted, and James Hetfield.
I can tell you who you've got. So is that what you're asking as well, Jeff? I can refresh.
Yes, please.
Been a while.
All right. Yeah, it's been a few weeks since we did this one. So for drums, I have Dave Lombardo. Dave has Charlie Benanti, and Jeff has Nick Menza. That's our drummers.
Yep.
On bass, Dave went with Jason Newsted. I went with Rob Trujillo, and Jeff went with Cliff Burton. So there was a lot of Metallica love that day. For rhythm guitar, Dave has Hetfield from Metallica, Jeff has Dave Mustaine from Megadeth, and I chose Scott Ian from Anthrax. So those who are off the board. This is why I say it's a bit more interesting, because I have my 3 bands. I have Slayer, I have Metallica, and I have Anthrax. So I'm good. I can pick whatever I want this round and next round. I think Dave has Anthrax, Metallica, and Metallica. Jeff has, what do we got here? We got Megadeth, Metallica, and Megadeth. So you guys, it's going to be, because you've got to play with lead guitarist and vocalist now to get the other bands sorted out. So you got to choose which way you're going to go. It's either this week or next week. You have to make a hard decision, because you may not get the one you want, because you've got to have the 3 out of the 4 bands represented in your lineup. So it's a bit of an interesting one. That this is to make sure we have at least a little bit of strategy in this, at least a little bit of strategy in this one as well. So
absolutely.
Just to quickly recap, on drums, I have Dave Lombardo, Dave has Charlie Benanti, and Jeff has Nick Menza. On bass, it was Newsted for Dave, Trujillo for me, and Burton for Jeff. On rhythm guitar, it was Hetfield for Dave, Mustaine for Jeff, and Scott Ian from Anthrax for mine. Just to recap that there. So this week, we are picking our lead guitarists. It's a random draw, so I'll pick whoever gets to go first in a moment. And then from there, we'll see how things shake out. So with that being said, let's do it. Let's see who gets to go first. First lead guitarist pick is going to be Dave. Who are you choosing?
Alrighty. I'm a tiny little bit pissed off that Jeff got Dave Mustaine because his solo in Holy Wars is fucking amazing. But even if I could staple his mouth closed, it wouldn't be worth the fucking drama of having him in the band. So I don't care. I'm going to go with Marty Friedman. He's a fucking amazing lead player. So, yep, that's who I'm picking.
Yep. Good pick.
Nicely done.
Really good pick. Yep.
That would have been mine. It would have been mine if I'd have gone first. So there we go. So that gives Dave his 3 bands. So Dave is in the clear for next week now. Let's see who gets to go next. Jeff gets to go next.
Okay. Well, I thought about this.
Yep.
So I'm picking one of the best watchmakers in the world. Is that any clue? Does anyone know who that is?
Yep.
Mr. Dan Spitz.
Nice.
Yeah. Great guitar player he was. I'm sad that he's not in the band anymore.
Mm.
But he left on his own accord.
Yeah, well, that's all you can do, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah, he wasn't fired or anything like that. So yeah. But yeah, he's a watchmaker now. Apparently he makes watches and he's like he's in the top 50 watchmakers on the planet.
Yeah, he's good.
Like, holy shit. Yeah.
It's pretty
It's
nuts.
a watch, but it's not a bell.
No, it's not a bell.
If it was a bell maker, you'd be like,
yeah. I'd be in trouble. There'd be another ding-a-ling out there. Yeah.
you'd be a ding-a-ling off contest.
I'm sorry. I can't help it.
Oh.
I'm going to show my ding-a-ling sometime. Yes. All 200 of them. Warts and all. Yeah.
This is not a PG-13 show, folks, so don't let your kids watch us. All right, which means I get to go last.
The orange hood.
Oh, here we go. Oh God, here we go. Which trying to get back on. I get to go next, which is I get to pick the final lead guitarist, and I'm actually going to go back to the Megadeth. Well, there's a few to choose from over the years, but I'm going to go with Glenn Drover. Actually, I think he's a little bit overlooked. There's a bit more diversity to his work as well. He's done a bit of bits and pieces here or there with, he's got his own thing with Eidolon. He's worked with King Diamond and Testament and Jeff Tate as well. So whilst it's not as impressive a recording resume, look at the artists he's worked with, and I think that's where I'm going to go with that one, just to make it a bit more interesting overall. But let us know in the comments who you would pick. But just for this week, Dave took Marty Friedman, which was my first pick. Unfortunately, Dave beat me to it. Jeff got Dan Spitz, and I've got Glenn Drover. That rounds it out, the lead guitarist. Next week, we are choosing vocalists. But if you could choose one lead guitarist, let us know in the comments who you would have picked as well. That's another one there. Nicole says wholesale. Okay, cool. We'll have to chat later on. Mal says, so when are we doing the glam supergroup? We can definitely do that. That is, there's all these ones we can do as well. Be tough. We have to knock it down a little bit to make it a little more interesting. But yeah, there's ways we can do this. There is a million ways we can do this one. Chris says lead guitar can only be Marty Friedman. So I think Dave might be on a winner here. Chris says because Slayer.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I said, because Slayer can't solo for shit. Well, Hanneman, yes.
Yeah, I thought about that. I thought about Jeff Hanneman. I thought because if someone took Dan Spitz, I thought, fuck, what's left? Jeff Hanneman. That's really about it, really.
You're not going to go Kerry King.
I'm not going to go Kerry King. Couldn't fucking play his way into a wet paper bag. At least not in the rhythm or their lead department. He's a good rhythm player for sure. Yeah. But not leads. Fuck no.
Yeah.
Slayer was never known for their leads at all.
No,
but I was thinking this little thing that you're doing here. Imagine if you had the limitations were that you could only pick, artists who have passed on.
Ooh. Okay, there's another one too. Getting artists that have passed on. Okay, we're getting a few little ideas for this one. This is definitely going to become a regular thing, isn't it? We're going to have to make this one a regular occurrence. It's going to be cool. Lots of ideas. If you got ideas for this sort of theme, let us know in the comments too. I'm open to reading more ideas as well out there. So It's gonna be a long conversation.
I'm just saying, I'm taking Malcolm Young. You guys can't have him. He's mine.
You got to. It's a random draw. You got to get there first.
Yeah,
remember?
yeah.
Give him some Jimi Hendrix.
Well, there we go.
Randy
Bill
Rhodes.
Wyatt on vocals.
Randy
I can build my
Rhodes.
band right now.
Nick and
To
I
see
are taking Freddie Mercury on vocals.
Oh wow, Freddie Mercury. Oh, there's so many choices. Yeah,
there are so many choices on that one. But anyway, Tony's gone. Does Mustaine count as two bands, Megadeth and Metallica? Well, you can only call the person once, and the rules were two. It didn't matter how long or short the stint was with the band. This had to be a part of the band for X amount of time, even for just a couple of live shows would do it. Just so everyone knows there as well. Guy chose Chris Poland. Good choice there as well. But here we go. Darren's has gone Marty Freeman. Andrew's gone Jeff Hanneman. So cool. Got some love there as well. Guy says, yeah, spits the watch guy, which is cool. Chris says, got the time was actually a prophecy.
Well I know. Played. I was thinking that. I thought that today. I was thinking, holy fuck. Exactly.
Well played.
Same thing. Yep.
Oh, that's a good one here. Conrad's gone Kiko is just as good, if not better. Kiko is very good. Very, I think, underrated, that one too. Same with Edge Crusher. Edge Crusher saying Kiko as well, which is cool. But Darren's going, keep your ding-a-ling to yourself, Jeff. Which one? One out of 200. Yeah. But Edge Crusher also said Marty was my first pick, though. I think everyone's wanting to see Marty get up. I think Marty is the winner for this one, but we'll see. Vinny says, as I edge closer to 50, Jeff, my ding-a-ling isn't always cooperative.
TMI. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Guy says, sticking with Chris Poland for sure. Cool. Nice one there.
Poland is an underrated guitar player. Really underrated guitar player.
Conrad says Kiko on lead. Another one there that, like Conrad said again, is backing it in. But Chris says, what about Rob Caggiano? Would be a huge benefit in the studio too. I had him on my short list. He was probably my next pick, actually, Rob Caggiano. If I couldn't get Drover, I was going to take Caggiano. So there we go. When it comes, excellent comment. When I'm 50, you can't see my dingling for my belly. You had a term for that last week, didn't you, Jeff?
I did. That's dick do. Yeah, that's dick do. That's where your belly sticks out farther than your dick do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Broderick from Tony saying, awesome in Jag Panzer too. Chris Broderick was another one that was on my short list there too, if I couldn't get through him in time. It just comes to being 50. Yeah, probably does. Not there yet for myself. Vinny says when it comes to the passed away one, Steve Clark, that's a good call there too. So
he
very
was
good
great.
call there.
Yeah.
But Chris says Broderick blew me away coming out with In Flames at Knotfest. That was I was seriously considering Broderick. Just like the body of work for Glenn, just a little bit more. But hey, we'll see what happens. It'll be an interesting one when we get the audience voting going on. As it stands right now, I was in the lead at 90 points. Jeff was second at 80 points. Dave was third on 70 points. The way this will work is over the next few days, I'll put out videos asking for who you would pick on rhythm guitar and then who you pick on lead guitar, and then we'll tally up whoever gets we'll go most popular gets 50 points, next one down 40 points out of the top 5 kind of thing. It works out, and then I allocate the points to whoever picked what to see
Dave,
how it all works out.
You're gonna get.
I think
Marty
Dave's going to kill this one.
He's going to give you a lot of points. Yeah,
but I think Dave's probably going to get a lot of love for last week's pick or last time around with Hetfield on rhythm as well. So I think Dave might be the one to beat as things are shaping out at the moment. But we'll see what happens with it all. All right, let's get into our underrated bands that we wish we had more from. This is an idea because coming up on Channel 31 on Saturday night, Dave and I have put together an episode which is basically every April is the birth month of the Hard Rock Show. So happy birthday to Hard Rock Show. It's turned 12 this month. We're into our 13th year now. We've been at this for a while, and so every time around this time of year, we try to get a bit reflective and look over bands we found doing the Hard Rock Show. So that's the 2-hour episode coming up on Channel 31 this week. But in light of that, while we just have a little bit longer to prepare for our concept album battle series, just wanted to go over and each of us pick an album that we found via the Hard Rock Show that we love and would love to get more out of that particular band or artist as well. We've got some 3 very good choices here. Jeff has chosen The Babes with, what was the album title? That one, sorry, with Dive Bars and Muscle Cars.
Yep.
Dave chose one which is actually changed name and everything now. So it's now called Through Shadow into Light, where it was originally called The Spiral Sequence, and now it's just reverted. It's changed things around. So I got 2 Aussie ones there, and I went to was it Norway? I think it was Norway. I'm not entirely certain anymore. I think it was Norway for the band that I chose, or that region of the world anyway, with a band called Alien Ken. So we're going to go through and basically quickly rattle off why we picked them, what we loved about them, and, bands we'd like to get more out of that we found over the Hard Rock Show years. And some interesting ones there. So, Jeff, let's start with you first this time around. You chose the Babes. What drove you to pick Dive Bars and Muscle Cars? And well, yeah, just give us your thoughts.
When I was thinking about all the bands and stuff that you guys have, opened the doors for me, introduced me to, all that stuff, I had a tough choice because there's a lot of music out there. But the Babes, I remember when I first heard them, I really liked them. And the singer had maybe you guys think I'm crazy, but he reminds me of Miles Kennedy in a lot of ways.
Okay, cool.
And so I really dug his vocals. And then I was like, oh, the guitar riffs are awesome. And I was end up, playing some stuff. And then I found out, because this is before I even really saw the band, and I found out that the drummer and the lead guitar player is like two chicks. I'm like, huh, what's not to love? They are literally the Babes.
Yep.
And so I was a big fan right off the bat once I found that out as well. I just love, it's like a sleazy, dirty rock. Yeah, it's just great rock and roll, really. And this album, there's not a bad song on the album. It's just a really straight ahead rock. Listening through it, again today, I mean, I probably listen to it in a couple months, but listening through it again today, and I was just going through it. And I'm just like, I'm on lunch break, and I'm just like, holy shit, like this album is, why did these guys not put out more? This album came out in 2020. I reckon the pandemic had something to do with it. Maybe they're due to have something else come out soon. It's been 3 years.
I think from memory, they're still going. They haven't folded or anything like that. Yeah.
They're from Adelaide, are they not? Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. That's right. So shout out to the Babes. You guys rock. I really love, your album, your music. And if you ever come down and play this way, I'm going. So, yeah. They're a
fun band live. They last posted on Facebook on the 20th of March with a reminder that Monty, the drummer, Monty Lasher, set her world record on that day. It was a drumming outdoors for 24 hours without a break, which is absolutely nuts when that went down. That was a huge thing, a charity thing for her father, which was amazing. They also released a Christmas tune last year. The Run Run Rudolph. They did a version of that.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
That was out there too.
That was cool.
Yeah. And for those curious, I put a link to the track Running from the Rising Sun in the description box and in the comments as well. Which for those curious, check out more.
Very cool. When I was trying to go through like standout tracks, as you usually do, I was going, okay, Dive Bars and Muscle Cars, Down and Out, Full Throttle, Wanna Fight. And they're like, fuck it, all of them. Because the whole album's great. So I really, just not a bad song on it.
I think for me, Doghouse is probably my favorite on that one still. Doghouse, I love that song. It's fucking so cool. All right, Dave, obviously you know the band well. What did you think of this choice?
Yeah, I remember when this came out in 2020 and gave it a listen then, listened to it for a few weeks. And yeah, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, all those classic hard rock bands, which was right alongside that. And I haven't had a chance to see them live, but I reckon their live shows would be a hell of a lot of fun. But yeah, it's good, straight up rock and roll. What's not to enjoy? Everything that's the title itself, Dive Bars and Muscle Cars, is a great indication of what you're gonna get. And, yeah. It's just a fucking good solid album. Good for barbecues, good for driving fast, good for drinking, good for live music. So, good fan.
Good for other things.
They're pretty much the perfect meat and potatoes kind of band for us, but with a twist. Like, they're not just a meat and potatoes band. They're very, very good at what they do. But that's like, if you like your hard rock, this is the place to talk about it, and this is the sort of band you're going to like. I think it's just not a bonus having, two women in the band, but I think that they've been good.
Yeah.
But they're very good at what they do. Like, they're really good at what they do. I think this last album is the best work they've done. I think that the lineup changes they've had over the years, I hate saying these sorts of things, but it's true because you just got to be honest. And I think that this lineup is the best lineup they've ever had. They keep going from strength to strength over the years. I don't know if either of you remember this one, but you can't get this anymore. This is the original album, Rock and Roll Gang, with the old lineup. So I've got that one here as well, which is not on streaming services, not on any of those things. I don't even know if you can buy this one anymore from the band. So it's going back a little while now. 2013 is this one. We actually had the band come over from Adelaide. They were doing some shows here, which were I could see them, but they also came into the old studio in Cranbourne, did an interview with us as well. The old lineup did. And that was funny because they rocked up in a beat up old fucking Charger, and Fred, the mascot there, he's walked up and trotted up, and his head is like looking into the car, which is just one of those moments I'll never forget. But they're great people. Like, they're absolutely fantastic people. They're just great to talk to and hang out with and all that sort of stuff too. So that was a fun day. But yeah, I think, like I said before, they've just gone from strength to strength, these guys. The new album, or the latest album, I should say, is a cracker. I listened to it a couple of times today, and it's like, fuck, it's good. It flies by.
It does.
The opening track is great. I think Doghouse is good. It Ain't Easy is a good one. The video clip for that's funny as fuck too, with the wrestling sort of connection on that. Always Riding, the closer, I think, is probably the best vocal performance from the band as a group as well. Yeah, so from top to bottom, it's a really fucking solid album. If you haven't heard the band at all, this is a really good place to start. It's pretty much the only place to start. They did an EP called It Ain't Easy a couple of years ago as well. And that cover of Run Run Rudolph is pretty fucking good too. So yeah, check them out. They are an underrated band. I think they should get a bit more love, and it's not for a gimmick sake, because they're really fucking good at what they do. The drum kit's fucking great. I don't know if they still use the same drum kit, but it used to be like a motorbike set up with the drum kit. It was fucking cool. I've seen them play that live. But yeah, no, they're a great band, great people. I've got a lot of love for them. So yeah, I'm wishing them all the best. And yeah, hopefully something more soon, in the near future rather than the late. So but we'll see. But this is the thing we're talking about. We want bands we've fallen in love with over the years that we want more from. And yeah, we'll see how we go. Let's see what sort of comments we've got here. Andy is replying to Gear saying, one upside with Spotify is it causes bands have to tour and sell merch. It's not all bad. So there we go. There are bits and pieces there. What do we got here? My votes were Crack a Smile by Poison, Earth versus the Wild Hearts by the Wild Hearts, and Wake of Magellan by Sabotage. Nice.
Oh, love that band.
Yeah. Nicole says Beast in Black is my find from you guys. Nice. Very cool. Andrew, speaking to me now, or my heart, the band that I discovered from you guys is Fuck the Fitzroy Doom Scene. 2 excellent releases so far. Yeah, that's a band that was very close to making my list. I went a different direction today, but fuck, I love that band to bits. They're great people too. Fuck, they're fun to hang out with. And Chris says, and Risking It All by DAD. Nice choices all around, people. Keep them coming, folks. Keep letting us know what you have as your finds over the years from us, over the years of us doing this, and then what you would like to see more from. Dave, let's go to your choice next. In the comments in the description box, there is a reference to this. It's for the track Blood and Ashes from the band Through Shadow into Light, formerly known as the Spiral Sequence, as evidenced here. I've got the old... Do you have this, Dave?
I do. I meant to dig it out, but I completely forgot. Yeah,
there we go. I've got it. The Spiral Sequence. This is the old album. This is back in 2013 as well, was when this one
I've got a copy of it as well.
Nice. There we go.
Well, I know the singer, so I know the guy who writes it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I was telling Dave. Yeah.
He's a cool guy too.
Yeah. He's a nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Dave, you picked it, so give us your thoughts.
Yeah. About 10 years ago, I was watching the Hard Rock Show at home, and you were interviewing James O'Toole about this project, and you guys reviewed it. And I was like, this sounds pretty cool, the clip that you played. So jumped on his Facebook. I think he was giving away a digital download of one of the songs or something. So I got that. I think at the time, like, this is really good. So I ended up buying the CD, and this is like, wow. And it was like the whole thing is written, performed, and recorded by James. Right. He did everything on this. It's
one man
total
band. That's right.
And at the time, I didn't think I'd ever heard of anyone doing something like that. So I was just completely amazed that one person could do all this and all the artwork in the book as well, in the CD book. So, but this album came at the right time for me, because I just listened to it over and over and over. And it covers a lot of different topics in the songs, from war, politics, depression, decision-making and regrets, internal conflict. There's a lot of thought in the lyrics, and very, very good songwriter. Musically, it's very unique. it takes a lot from the alternative metal genre. Bands like Paradise Lost, I think. I'm not too familiar with that, but
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I'd love the music all the way through this. He's done a couple of other singles throughout the years, but not a full album. But yeah, he's kind of gone quiet on Facebook.
Last post is 2021, May 2021. So it's nearly 2 years ago since the last Facebook post. Anyway,
he's a very, very talented musician.
He's a real nice guy too. Yeah, he used to. I used to work in Burwood. I was a manager at Woolies, and he'd come in all the time, and we'd just chat, about music or whatever. I knew he was a metalhead when I saw him, and that just probably, that just probably, spurred me on to have, say something about it. And then the next thing you know, he came in and gave me his album. I'm like, hey, dude, thanks so much. Yeah, cool. Yeah, nice guy, real nice guy.
What do you think of the album then, Jeff? I'm assuming you're done there, Dave, or
Oh, I think it's great. It's really good. I was like Dave. I was blown away by just the musicality of this one dude. So it's like what's the guy from Strapping Young Lad?
Devin Townsend.
Devin Townsend. It's like that, right? Same sort of level of musicality. From a local guy in Burwood. So James, if you happen to watch this, how you doing? I haven't talked to you in a long time, but you're cool shit.
Well.
I hope you're doing well. That's right. If he even remembers me, he might not. It's been a long time, and I haven't been there. I left there in 2016. So,
wow.
But it's a great album. Just a lot of talent, and in fact, I would go so far as to say that I myself. That's something that I've always wanted to do is, I've got, you probably can't see it. There's my studio sort of here, my Mac, and all my keyboards and stuff. So that's something that I wanted to do as well. And I think he kind of inspired me, that I've been in bands and stuff, but I wanted to just do my own shit. So a lot of inspiration there. I don't know. Is it on streaming services? Is it on?
Yeah. But it's through the name, through Shadow into Light these days, not under the album title anymore. It's changed, So the album title is the band name now. So it's been flipped. Which is, funnily enough, the last post. It's about changing the name of everything going forward. Now, there's been teasers and that on YouTube in time since. But it's been a couple of years since we've heard anything from the band on socials. For me, personal tracks on this one would be sort of Blood and Ashes, Dehumanization. It's a good one as well.
That's a good one.
Surface is cool as well. I like the whole album, but I like how it starts off somber, dark. It's very dark in tone overall, but it finishes on like the acoustic note at the end, which is cool. It's a nice way to sort of wrap it all up in a neat little bow. I like the album when it came out, and I still listen to it today, and it's one of those ones that stays with you. I think that it is, like you said, Jeff, it is one of those ones that inspires you to be a solo artist. I know we all sort of play and do things here as well. Like Dave does guitar. I've done a bit of everything over the years. One of the purposes, or once I get up into the new place, my little office space where I'll be filming and doing streaming from will also be converted into being a personal studio as well. So I'm going to set up my monitors and everything in there properly, my keyboard, like you've got, Jeff, my amps, my guitars. The only thing I'm not taking is a drum kit because I don't need a drum kit. No, I don't play the drums very well, so I'm not going to take a drum kit, but everything else has come with me. So that's going to be the fun part for me, hopefully having a bit more time to dabble with that world again. I used to write a lot, used to play a bit, used to teach guitar years ago as well. But I did my audio engineering stuff too, so I'd like to get back into it again. It's one of those albums you listen to and go, fuck, it can be done. And it can be done very well. Not just can be done, it can be done very, very well. For me, this is musically like a Devin Townsend's an interesting comparison, but I think when I listen to this one musically, it puts me in mind of Paradise Lost and Killing Joke stuck in a blender. You put those two, and this is kind of the outcome of that. The later, like the Killing Joke album of about the same time, combined with Paradise Lost, is like 2013 or 2012. Sorry, is the album I'm thinking of from Killing Joke. If you listen to 2012, listen to Paradise Lost, and listen to this, you'll get exactly what I'm talking about. I think that sort of fits the mold. It's one of those ones where if you like it moody, some nice guitar work, some really aggressive stuff in there too. It's like there's some heavy shit in there, but it's got some nice softer stuff in there too. Like where we had the meat and potatoes hard rock, this is like your slightly progressive metal kind of a thing with some a lot to say lyrically too, which is very, very cool. A lot to say in the lyrics, which is if you get into the backstory of the whole thing, I should dig out the old interview one day. But yeah, it's a really cool, fascinating little album, this one. So yeah, if you haven't checked it out, please do go and check it out. I love it a lot still to this day. It's a lot of fun. What do we got here? Oh, Darren says Vanishing Point is the band you put me onto. Nice choice. Yeah. Vanishing Point is fantastic. Good one there. Tony says, got to go. Your show's about to start on Channel 44 in Adelaide. Yes, it would be about to start over there. So 10:30 local time. It's 10:30 Melbourne time here. So I don't know if it's a half an hour away or if it's about to start. But yeah, we are on Thursday nights, 10:30 p.m. local time on Channel 44 in Adelaide. You can watch that one online as well. Here we go. Chris says, do a challenge on the channel. Andrew writes a few linked riffs and puts out there for others to mold, arrange, do a song. I think all of us could do that, to be honest. We could all do things. We could just write some stuff, just like a communal music challenge, which would be a bit of fun, actually.
That would be awesome. Yeah, that'd be
It might be a thing, if I can make it work where I'm not having to do too much day job work once we move up north. Hopefully I'll be able to actually have some time to put into that, which would be kind of cool as well. Because it'd be like when Dennis had the Legions of Steel stuff and he had the Legions of Thrash song. Remember that one, Dave, where he put that song together and had all the guest solos on there? It was fucking nuts. But yeah, that's a cool one, Chris. Nice idea there. We should do some communal music stuff. We can all play or do something, so we should definitely do something in that regard for sure.
Yep.
All right. One more pick to get through. I know it's getting late, and people are jumping away, but we've got one more to get through, and this is a fun one. This is a bit different. We've got two Aussie ones. I'm going to go overseas with my choice, which is usually the other way around. But my choice is a band called Alien Ken, which is really fucking cool. The reason why I chose this particular album, Contact, there's a reference track for Cleanse My Claws in the comments in the description box. But this is the album, Alien Ken. Contact is the album. There's a second album out there as well, which, give me a moment and I'll dig up what that's called. I forget the name of it right off the top of my head. It is Change is Constant is the second album. Went with this one first because when they sent this in to us, it was fucking hilarious because Dave, I don't know, Jeff, you may remember this, but I know Dave remembers this one. We did the review because they sent it to us, this CD, from overseas in Norway. They sent it to us with a sheet of tin foil and instructions on how to make it into a hat.
No, I don't remember that. That's awesome.
And so we did the review, passing this tinfoil hat amongst us. Fucking nuts. And it was one of the cleverest bits of just doing something different in the marketing space, which was just, I fucking loved it. I absolutely loved it. And it was one of those things where, okay, cool. You've got the attention of us, but then does the music stack up? And fuck yes, it does. This album came out in 2014. The other album came out in 2016. The last thing we heard musically from them was back in 2017 with just a standalone single called Smegma. I'm going to quickly check online now and see when the last post was from the band. If I can even find them anymore. I don't know what. Facebook's taking a long time. Oh, no, they're still online. What do we got
Smegma.
Here? Last post was in 2020, 4th of Feb 2020, unfortunately, with promoting a different thing for Heads of Hydra. So it's interesting. It's he's shared in 2019, it was like a year before that was the post for that as well. Someone sharing a cover of a song. It's like, wow. Now, this is really cool because in a lot of respects, I wonder if someone on the way, because the clips that were filmed on this one, the video clips were filmed at Frog Leap Studios, which for those paying attention, that's where Leo Moracchioli, who does all the covers, has his studio. So there's a little bit of a crossover with Leo Moracchioli, and I have a sneaking suspicion that the guitarist known as Alien Ken is actually Leo. I might be very wrong, but I have a sneaking suspicion that that's where that's sort of flipped off into things. I'd like to see where Leo took off and Alien Ken sort of faded away. I'd like to see if there's a correlation there. But getting onto this stuff is just fucking straight up, balls out, heavy rock to metal kind of a thing, but loaded with melody. And I love the grit in the vocal. There's a really gritty vocal, some great riff work on this one. Not a lot of solos and stuff. Cleanse My Claws on this one is my favorite standouts on this one. But you got tracks in here called Glitter Rambo, which is fucking hilarious. She at the end of the album is a good one. Too Bad, Fall at My Feet's another good one. On the second album, there's a song called Third, which is the 4th track on the album, but that fucking song rules. I love that song. But this album, just because they sent it to us with the whole fucking tinfoil hat, the whole thing was just, the letter that came with it was just fucking hilarious. I've got it stashed somewhere. I never lost it. I've still got it from the old studio days. But this is a band that stayed with me all the time through. In total, we've got maybe an hour's worth of music. There's like 2 half-hour albums and a single out of them. And I would just love to get so much more out of this if it was at all possible. I'm not sure these days. One of those things where you think they folded, but you haven't got anything, official. But this was just cool. I just really liked the way it was put together. It was something different. Stay with me, and the music was great. So when you get a gimmick and the music stacks up to hold it in good stead as well, it's like, okay, fuck, that was a complete package. It was just one of those ones that blew me away. And in all the years of doing it, I've never had anything like it come through the mailbox since either. So it was the only one of its kind after all these years, a decade plus. Like I said, 12th birthday, 13th year now. This is the only one of its kind that's come across, and I just think it's stood the test of time, and I'd love to get more of it. I love this shit. This is fantastic. It's just short, punchy songs. Like I said, half hour long albums. Doesn't overstay its welcome at all. It's different to the Spiral Through Shadow into Light. So the complete opposite of that, basically. This is like the metal version of the Babes. It's just riffed up in your face.
The first song I thought was awesome. I only had a chance to listen to the first song, but I thought, wow,
cool.
Who the fuck are these guys?
Yeah,
it's really good.
It's so different. It's not different, but it's just really well done. And the second album is fantastic too. So you didn't have any more there, Jeff? Just the one song you listened to today so far?
I will listen if I had more time today because I was working. I only had a chance. I had to go through the Babes again and stuff. But
for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to listen to it. Yeah, I liked it. What I heard so far. So yep.
Cool. Dave, any thoughts on Alien Ken?
Yeah, this album's awesome. I mean, as you said, it's very hard rock, but also ventures into the kind of disturbed riffing at times, kind of heavier metal stuff. Songs are good, performances are great, and every song is like a little story in itself. It's really well told. But the Drifter, I listened to it 2 times today, and that song always has popped out at me. It's a great story, very visual, and then there's a great line that a good woman is like a good whiskey. Even though it gets old, it never gets bad.
Yes. There's some really clever wordplay on there, which I thought was, but fun but serious at the same time. Like there was an element of fun to them that was cool, but there was always a bit of bite in there as well, which I thought was just one of those ones. It's like, don't get a lot that do it that well, like across the board, from top to bottom, presentation to actual product. There weren't many that were
very well done.
Yeah.
The band name is one of those ones that puts you in one headspace, and then when you listen to the music, it's not what you were thinking. But it still kind of works all together as a complete package.
Yeah,
because Alien Ken, album's called Contact. You're thinking some type of prog rock type sci-fi stuff, or experimental, and you hit with the hard rock, the metal, and then the great songwriting and the lyrics, and it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, they were an impressive outfit. I would like to get more, but I do want to dig into, if I ever get a chance to dig into where that Leo's career took off and this one kind of went quiet. So I wonder if there's a link there. I do know it was the same studio, so we'll have to see what happens in that regard. But there is at least that connection that I can make that they were at the same studio. But yeah, that's a band that I've loved for years. I went the opposite way of you guys. I went to the international one because on our TV episode, I went all Australian pretty much for that one. So I think except for like 2. And that was it. So that's that. That's our underrated bands we wish we had more music from, just to make things a bit different this week. Next week, we're back with our battle series. That's what's going on there too. Back to the studio challenge thing there. Chris says, I've got my own home studio too, and I'm more of a Lars than a James, more into arrangements and ideas. Nice. Cool. Chopping up is always good and stuff as well, so that'd be a bit of fun there to play with. Edge Crusher says, Espionage, great live band. They are fantastic. Well, they were. They've folded now, unfortunately, but yeah, they were a great band. They were a lot of fun. They've got all the music out there, so go and check it out if you haven't checked them out. Guy says hilarious, which is cool there as well. Nicole says Frog Leap Studios. Yes, nothing bad comes out of Frog Leap Studios, I swear. Rowan's giving us the horns. Good to see you, buddy, as well. Mal, whose dog just walked onto the TV set? I'm not sure. Jeff, do you have a dog there? Because my dog's not visible at the moment. But
I don't have a dog. No, I wish I had a dog.
That'd be this one. I don't know, Mal, if you're trying to give us some funny there. But no, for those that don't know, watching the old shows, the old studio days, we had Fred running around the joint, which was just fucking nuts. And then we added 2 other dogs on top of that, which made it more nuts. So Fred has unfortunately passed away a few years ago now, but we still have Nala and Caesar. They're both still as crazy as ever.
Fred ends every show, so he's the dog at the end. You hear ruff, ruff. So there you go.
Yeah, Fred is the mascot of the Hard Rock Show. He is
as he should be.
As he should be. And I think that at any point in time, he is always more popular than any of the hosts have ever been. So he is definitely the Hard Rock Show. That dog was something special, but that's why he's always there on the set wherever we go. That's why he closes the show, like you said, Jeff. We made him our little MGM lion. We did the stupid idea with having Fred on the old bar top, and because he would bark on command, and so he'd get him to speak, and he would do that. I've got so much. I'm going to do like the biggest supercut of a dog ever. I reckon we've got so much footage of that dog that it's nuts. So between him and when the dogs are trying fucking humping each other on the old couch behind the set, remember that? It was fucking nuts. The dogs were just crazy. When we had the room for them to run around and the camera angles are set up for it, it was perfect. It actually worked really, really well. I would love to get back to doing that at some point if we can, but we'll just see how things pan out. It's just a bit of a weird one these days. But the dogs are always a part of what we do. Even if you don't see them as often as on camera as they used to be, they are always, always with us in every way. Channel 44. Who's dog? What episode is that? Oh, hang on. I've got to work out which one that is now. I can do that. Let me see. Hang on. Sorry, folks. Bear with me for a second while I just quickly check something here. For the April 27 episode, what did I put in? So here, the start of the show. Oh, it's the torture one. So this would be Fred, surely. Is it the black and white dog that you're talking about? If it's a black and white dog, that was Caesar during the Limp Bizkit review. That's my dog, pretty much. Caesar is my dog, Mel. That's Caesar doing. He was walking around. At the same time, we had Fred under the couch. So if you see a tan dog, that's Fred. If you see a black and white dog, that'll be Caesar. That's all our dogs. We have Nala. You might see her, but she's a smaller one out of the three. But she's still a Great Dane. We don't have any small dogs. The lightest of our dogs weighs 50 plus kilos. So just for context there. So on Channel 44, that would be the one there. Basher says THRS have provided many new and past great albums and artists such as Heat, Reckless Love, currently Acolyte, Wicked Smile, Firehouse, Saxon, Queensryche. Great choices all around there. Rowan says underrated bands, Pathos Ray, Beautiful Sin. Nice. Chris says Mal, too many Scooby Snacks, dude. Nicole says my son's nickname is Fred. That's cool. That is cool. I can still see him on THRS TV show right now. So that would definitely be Caesar. You'd be at the second or third segment of the show, which would be that's the gig guide part there. So yeah, probably in the second segment, which would be Caesar running around, black and white big dog running around. That was Caesar. He was one that made his appearance in that particular episode there. Still got him. Yep, that's the dog, Caesar. Yeah, there we go. I got that confirmed. And Sonia's gone, Miss Freddie Boy, he was the best dog. He was the best. Like, you'd know this, Jeff. You come down to the studio and he would just meet and greet everyone. He was like the absolute best concierge. That dog knew and loved everyone. And yeah, he was one of a kind.
Take it as a privilege that I got to meet him. Yeah, he was lovely.
One of a kind, that one. Guy says, underrated band, Walking Paper. So there you go, folks. If you're looking for underrated music to check out, there's a lot going through the comments here. I'm sure we'll get more in the future as well. But yeah, that is basically what we had planned for tonight's show, which has gone pretty good overall. So we've done all that sort of stuff, done the underrated things. So next week, we're back into the swing of things. So Conrad, if you're still around, we're going to get you involved if we can, if things line up. Hopefully that does work out, because it's our first round of our concept albums battle series. And to kick things off, it's going to be The Who's Tommy album versus Nightwish Imaginarum. So, Dave.
Know where Dave's going.
Yeah, well, it's so just for context here, I have there's a playlist. I'll actually share this playlist. If you want to follow the playlist for all this sort of stuff, I'll share a link to it now in the comments, just so that people can follow the playlist that has all this to it. There's a link to it now in the comments. For King of the Riff, for our concept album battle series, from number 1 through to number 10 in the seeding of things, it is Queensryche, Operation Mindcrime, Pink Floyd, The Wall, Wasp, The Crimson Idol, Dream Theater, Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from Memory, Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare, 1. Iron Maiden with Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. The Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. The Who with Tommy. Nightwish with Imaginarium. And Sabotage with Streets, a rock opera, were the ones that made it into the final 10 of the audience voting as it all plays out. So for those, there are some good ones. So just for context here, the opening rounds are going to be The Who versus Nightwish. That's next week. The week after that is The Beatles versus Sabotage. Then it's Queensryche versus the winner of The Who versus Nightwish. Then it's Dream Theater versus Alice Cooper. Then it's Pink Floyd versus the winner of Beatles and Sabotage. Then it's Wasp versus Iron Maiden. Then we start, after those ones are all knocked out, then it's the winners of different rounds to get through to the final round at the end. So those are the albums that are coming through things. So next week is The Who versus Nightwish. 2 very different albums, but this is all seeded by audience voting for a top 10. And then we sort of worked it out by popularity, whichever the top 10 were in. And then if there was any tie breaks, I just used what was most listened to out there in the wider public, because that's generally a good representation of the audience voting as a rule. To break any ties up just to make it work out well. But that's
Iron Maiden.
There's some tough ones. There are going to be some tough ones. I know that we had tough ones with the Canada ones, but because a lot of these, not all of it, but there's a lot of similarities in tastes for a lot of this one. So if you like one, you're going to like a lot of these albums. So it's going to be a lot harder to split on taste alone. So it's going to make it a lot more challenging, this one, I think. It's going to be very, very tough.
This is way tougher than the Canada one. I really do. I mean, having said I'm Canadian, and it was tough, but this one, wow. Iron Maiden versus Wasp, Dream Theater. I mean, holy fuck. How do you choose? These are like children, our kids. We've listened to these all our lives, Yeah.
Yep. So
I've got most of these albums on CD and vinyl.
Yeah.
Yep. So
I've heard every single one of them, and I love them all.
Get ready for hell, people, because this is going to be hard. So next week it's The Who versus Imaginary. Versus Nightwish.
I'm going to be bipolar. I'm going to be like, fuck yes, no.
The whole way through, this is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a really tough one. It's just like I said, the albums were chosen by audience polling. We didn't choose or put a hand in any of these things, just the top 10 voted by the audience, and we sort of worked it out from there. So then it gets seeded out. The top ones, the top 2 get it's basically the equivalent of a bye to get through to the next round, and then it goes from there. But that's how it works. What do we got here? Andrew, did you see the clip? Wait, my dog is gonna. My dog does plenty for me anyway. I don't need to worry about it. Chris says, you guys have been grouse. Thanks. You're most welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight. Conrad says, yes, keen and up for it. Nice. Good to see. Good to see. Mal's gone, Wicked Smile now replacing Reckless Love for the Skid Row tour. Yes, they are, which is a good little. It's unfortunate that Reckless Love have now had to pull out of that one, but Wicked Smile are a great fill-in for that too, which is good. Nicole says, The Who, that's a magical album. It's going to be tough. Here we go. Basher says, a no contest. Nightwish Imaginarium. Here we go. Chris says, oh, for fuck's sake, an entire album about a deaf, dumb, and blind pinball champion, regardless of anything musical, it deserves to be ignored just on concept. You know it well, clearly.
I finally saw the movie last year while I had COVID. Just like, fuck, it took me forever to get onto this movie. It's so ridiculous, but it's great.
Yeah. There's some strange ones out there too. Nicole says, underrated for me was Majestica. Now I saw your voting for that one, and yes, the Majestica Christmas album is fucking wonderful, actually. Really well done. Chris says, oh, putting the Beatles against Sabotage, you are killing me. We're going to try our best. Vinny says, speaking of deafness, deaf gynecologists are the most gifted as they can still read lips. Oh my God.
Wow.
Here we go. Wow. Vinny, every week you get one. Well done. Every week you get one in there. And Sonny says, no brainer, Imaginarium for me. Okay, cool. So we're getting a lot of back and forth. Chris says Spinal Tap's concept musical Lick My Love Pump should be up there. Hey, it would have been if the audience voted for it. So there we go. We don't choose these. This is audience voting, and we just sort of seed it out by popularity. That's all it is. But yeah, we could do more than one of these. We could do another one where we eliminate all these ones and go, okay, except for these ones, what would you pick? So it's interesting that there's a lot of scope for and room to play. If you've got any ideas what you'd like to see a battle round of too, we've got lots of ideas.
You did, battle round. You keep doing it, and then you have the battle, the one from Canada, and then the one that will win from this. And then they all go head to head.
Yeah, that's a good one too. The best of the best kind of thing. That could,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a definite thing. It'd take a while to get there, but that'd be cool too to get to 10 of those. We did, we got the 87 one in the vault too, haven't we, Dave? 87 was it?
That was fun. Yeah, it was
That was
87.
fun too. Yeah, so
You
we
love
could
87.
put that
I know
one.
why you love 87, Dave. I know
Yeah.
it.
Right? I was set for a heel change because I'm
You
surprised
were.
Among the Living didn't get higher. If it came down to
Mm.
Appetite for Destruction versus Among the Living, I had my Anthrax t-shirt under my Guns N' Roses t-shirt. I was
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
turn
the
heel
whole
and
heel
go
switch.
Anthrax. But they got
Yeah.
voted down early. I'm like, fuck.
No,
Damn.
but we learned a lot during that first one because the format's changed from that to now. Because back then we randomly seeded, didn't actually popularity seed. Popularity seed would have come with a much better result. So popularity seed is better than random seed. Random seed made it a lot tougher because it meant that other albums got knocked out a lot earlier than they probably should have been, which is unfortunate. But it just worked out that way. But it was good in the end. Chris says battle round. Which Kirk Hammett Wah solo is the best? You'll be going until 2046.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. But like I was saying, that about wraps us up for now. So next week we are back with The Who versus Nightwish and all the usual stuff as well from there. So hopefully you'll join us same time place then. Make sure you check us out on TV as well. Like is being done now on Channel 44 in Adelaide at 10:30 p.m. Thursday nights and 10:30 p.m. Saturday nights on Channel 31 in Melbourne. You can watch both of those via the CTV Plus website and app. So please do go and check out those. And yeah, we are back into it next week as well. Just keep doing things. Keep watching our other content online too. Like the details for us are in the description box of this. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe. Keep up to date because we do a lot more video content than any other sort of posts out there. So follow us and interact with the videos. Things like it'll be, asking people to vote for rhythm guitarist or lead guitarist, that kind of stuff. There's other things in there too, which will be coming through. A lot of fun to be had in that regard. I'm going to be playing a bit of a different idea too, which might generate some TV stuff too for us down the line as well, which is a bit of fun to play with as well. Some ideas I'm rattling around in this noggin of mine. But there's a lot coming up, a lot of overhauling to be done, a lot of different things because I'm moving into state. So there's a lot of things going on. So just keep up to date with us. And while you're checking our stuff out in the description box, make sure you check out our sponsor too. A big thank you to Squid Ink Screenprinting, Alt-Cvlt Rockstar Finance as always. Their details are there, so give them a like too. Give us your thoughts on anything and everything we've talked about, even if you're tuning in later on via video or audio. We love hearing your thoughts on all this sort of stuff too. So make sure you give us your feedback whenever you're willing and able. And we do appreciate you taking your time and spending it with us. It's very much appreciated. We love having everyone here, getting some new faces as well as the regular ones as well. We love it every single week. We keep doing it because we love it, and it's a lot of fun all around. What else? If you've missed anything here, there's links for reference tracks in the description box as well, so make sure you go and check it out. And hopefully you enjoy some new music in there as well. Andrew says, great show again, guys. Good way to end an excellent week seeing Sleep Token Sunday night and got tickets for Extreme Living Color and Ghost. Cheers, boys. Well done. That is going to be cool. Nice.
I got tickets for Ghost too. Do we know who's opening for Ghost? Is it
no, I don't know.
I don't know
yet.
Because I got my tickets. Me and my buddy were going, so they've already been paid for.
It's going to be interesting because the venue in Queensland, because I'm going to be in Queensland when this happens, is an outdoor theatre. Similar to the Maya Music Bowl here in Melbourne. So I'm going to be really interested to check out that one as well. So it'll be a different experience that. Mal says, see you lads. Just for the record, Dave looks a lot better on this stream than in the dark compared to the big screen. So the lighting
take it where you can get it, Dave. Yeah,
exactly. Take it home where you can. Darren says, have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you. Likewise, to you. So hopefully everyone, I know we're going to get through Friday, but hopefully everyone's having a good week coming up, or good weekend coming up, and has had a good week so far as well. Rowan says, got my tickets to Extreme as well. There's a lot of great gigs going on at the moment. A lot of great gigs.
I want to see that too, but I just can't afford it, really.
I'm going to commit to Ghost. I'm going to commit to Ghost, but that's about the only one I can actually commit to with the move going on. Moving interstate is not cheap. So
no, it's not. No,
it's really not cheap.
Did you see them the last time they were here when they came up to the festival?
I wanted to, but I didn't get to. No.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
Everyone was there except for me. I think everyone was there except for me. Pretty much everyone was fucking. It was crazy. It was like a who's who of Melbourne music was there. It was nuts.
Did you go, Dave? Did you watch Slayer or Ghost?
No, I didn't go.
Oh. See, I had a chance. Like I watched, probably.
Oh, you're talking about? Oh, sorry, you're talking about Download.
Download. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah. No, sorry, I thought you were talking about Extreme then. No. I did see. I saw a snippet of Slab, but I'd seen it before. I saw a snippet of Hailstorm, and I like Hailstorm, but it wasn't really grabbing me. So I went to Ghost and stayed there the whole fucking time after that. I missed like 2 songs of Ghost.
I didn't miss it. I mean, my buddy, he was like, "Should we watch Slayer?" And there was this big fucking fire that they lit. Do you remember that? And there's, and I'm like, fuck this shit. And I'm like, I watched it was a couple songs, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to Ghost. And then we stood there for half an hour for waiting for Ghost to get on. But yeah, I don't regret it 1 second. Even if it was Slayer's last show, I don't give a fuck.
I'd seen Slayer before, so it wasn't the end of the world for me. So I saw some of their set and then jumped over to Ghost pretty much after seeing a minute of Hailstorm. And Ghost was easily the best of the 3 for mine. I know people will disagree with that. Tim especially does here, so does others in the crew. But for me, Ghost just stole the show that night. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What? And that pavilion was the perfect setup for him too. The lighting was great. It was a great room to be in. It was fucking fantastic.
It was hot as fuck in there, though. It was like
it was definitely hot as fuck.
I remember going, "Oh my God, I'm gonna pass out here."
Yeah, it was fucking warm.
Some fucking wanker beside me was, I don't know. He was like the whole time he was just going, "Hail Satan, hail Satan." I'm just like, shut the fuck up, idiot.
Yeah. It's a very tongue in cheek thing. You got to get your head around.
I know.
Yeah. Very, very tongue-in-cheek. But what was cool about that for me, I'll never forget this one. I'll remember this until my dying day, I reckon. Someone turned around, spotted me in the crowd, and goes, "I'm here because of you." Like, they only checked out that band because we've been playing them on the show. So
wow. That's awesome.
That's pretty cool. I'll never forget that. Just someone saying the only reason why they were there to see that band live is because I seen them on the show. I was like, that's the show doing its job. So that's like the ultimate compliment to me. That was fantastic. So I'm looking forward to seeing Ghost again.
Absolutely. I had a good day that day. I saw so many bands, and I remember one thing. I ended up taking a photo of some guy that was walking away and had a shirt on, and I'd never seen it before. It was the funniest fucking thing I'd ever seen. I said to my buddy, "Check that out." And I snapped a photo, and the back of his shirt just said, "Jesus is a cunt." I don't know if that's a bad thing or what, but
I don't know.
Cradle of Filth.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's a Cradle of Filth t-shirt.
There we go. There you go. That makes sense then.
Well, that does make sense. But yeah,
it was a good setting for it in the context.
Yeah, absolutely.
With Ghost doing what they do. What do we got? Guy says, "Thanks for the show. Looking forward to each Thursday. It's great having you. Looking forward to having you back here as well." Conrad says, "I'm seeing Ripper Owens and Iron Maidens in one weekend in 2 weeks' time in Sydney." Nice, man. That'll be a cracking weekend for you. Enjoy that for sure. Michael says Extreme Living Color tickets, so that's going to be amazing. To Living Color, a fantastic live. Here we go. Darren says Slayer was fucking awesome. Download. And Tony says Limp Bizkit on channel 44 equals the mute button. That is an old episode for a torture theme. So the theme of that was torture deliberately. So it is deliberately meant to be painful, that episode. So I don't know if you like the next choice much better coming up, but we'll see what happens. Alrighty, before we get out of here, as always, though, we do need to feed the bin. So, Dave, let's go to you first. What are you putting in the bin this week?
Senseless vandalism. I know I'm going to sound like an old man, but there's a nice reserve down the end of my thought, and there's like little shelters around the football field, and some wanker's gone and tagged them all, and fucking it looks ridiculous. I'm not a big fan of it, but street art in certain places, at least it's a picture or something, but just fucking scribbling your tag is just wankers. It is fucked. It looks like shit, and there's no point behind it. It's made the whole area look shit. So taggers in the bin. You're a bunch of fucking wankers.
Yeah, fair enough. Street art, yes. Tagging, no. What about you, Jeff? What's in the bin for you this week?
I'm just going with an old favorite. Getting the fucking bin Trump. I fucking can't stand it. He's in the news again. This time, of course he is. He's been now. They've got him on tape. Basically, you can hear him fucking talking about trying to steal the election now. So he's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see how much money he can. Money will get you out of anything. We'll see.
We'll see.
I hate to go.
Didn't say Tucker Carlson.
No. And so Tucker Carlson, Don Lemon, all those guys. It was a big thing. I think when you look at it, Murdoch probably just went, between what Carlson did, by just perpetuating the whole fucking bullshit with the insurrection, and the lost election and all that, stolen election, all that shit. It's cost him almost 800 million. And
there's
there's
another lawsuit
another
coming soon, about $2 billion they're wanting. Yeah, they want
yeah,
more.
and
Yeah.
believe it or not, people don't realize that Fox's their board of directors and everything, the stock shareholders, they're actually suing the company. So the own share holders are suing the
Wow.
company as well.
Okay. There you go.
Fuck? So
It's
I
going to be
think
interesting to watch that play out.
Fox can be fucked. So yeah, Tucker and gets in the bin with Trumpy.
Yeah.
There's
Fair
enough room in there. His toupee's just poking out the top. I can see it.
Get like the thing there, little thing at the top.
Sorry,
mine's much more. Mine is much more mundane. Mine is we started off talking about football. I'm going to start to close the episode talking about football, the Aussie football here, and that's just the match review stuff. Like, it's got me fucked how a player who's tackling a player. We're protecting concussion. I fully understand that. It's all good. I'm not bemoaning that a player gets a week suspension because he concussed someone in a tackle. That's part of the game. I whatever. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is on the flip side that an act that's not part of the game, i.e. punching someone in the gut, is just a fine. And it's like, if it's not part of the game, if something that is part of the game but is accidental gets you rubbed out for a week versus something that's not part of the game that's just a prick of a thing to do behind play, that should be an automatic week and just go up from there. Like, I just think that if someone just, cowardly or gut punches someone, it's just not part. It doesn't matter how soft it is either. It just shouldn't be done. I mean, what are you encouraging the kids to do here? You can't tackle someone because you might get taken out for a week, but you can hit someone behind play because that's just a fine. Like, what's the message we're sending? Like, it's not smart. I just think that if it's a non-football act, start it a week and go up from there. Like, that's just what I would do. But
I got a good argument, and it stops assholes from doing it in the future because they're going to go, if I do this, I'm not playing for a week.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter how it can be the softest thing. It's not about being soft because the game is still hard to play. It's still a tough game to watch and play and all that sort of stuff. But it's just rub that crap out of the game. We don't need it in the game.
No, it's unsportsmanlike, is what it is. It's right.
If you're gonna be a dirty player, just you're out. Like, off you go. Have a week off. That's what I think. But
it could be like John Hopowardy with a dirty finger.
Wow, you've gone into the vault for that one. Dave's sitting there going, "What?" I was like, Dave, don't even bother looking it up. It's not a pleasant one. That was a wild.
He was a serial. Like, that wasn't just once. He did it
more than once. It was like, what the fuck is wrong with that dude?
I don't know. Stinky fingers.
Speaking
Dave.
of
That's
non-football
all
acts,
you need to know.
That's up there.
That's a dirty play. Dirty play.
In more ways than one. Hopowardy can get in the bin too. Then, for that matter, what the fuck was going on there? Wow, I didn't even think of that until you brought that up. That's nuts. All right, so Tony says, torture, you succeeded. Yes, we did. Nicole says, thanks for another great night of chit-chat. You're more than welcome. Thanks for joining us as well. Rowan's gone, forgetting it was THRS day night, Thursday night, and going to see a friend's jazz band and said, in the bin. The best thing is you can watch this back later on. You don't have to watch it live. It's better to have you live with us, but you can watch whenever you want, which is cool. Darren says, use it as a plug. Yes, he did. Hopowardy used the bin as a plug, I'm sure. Vinny says, my binnies people talking and laughing at the movies almost ruined my experience watching John Wick 4. If it wasn't my girlfriend, I would have gone Binny Wick 5 last week. Wow.
She held him back, eh?
Yeah. Wow.
John Wick 4 is pretty cool, though.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't
seen
it.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
Okay, cool. No spoilers. I want to see it. I do look forward to that one. But Vinny on the flip side says, thanks for another ripping stream, legends. You're more than welcome. Thank you for joining us, as always. Great having you here. And back onto the TV stuff on Channel 44. I knew it. Tony's gone Nickelback next. What the fuck? Like I said, the episode was torture. So there you go.
Michael Sweet on that one?
That was the same session. Didn't make it to TV.
Good reason.
Yes, well, if you see it is online, and you'll see it in the bloopers after the credits too, Tony, so you'll be able to see it there as well. All right, on that note, I think we are going to wrap this up. Let's get out of here. But thank you all, one and all, for joining us. Make sure you hit that like button as well and keep up to date with everything that's going on. But we'll see you all again very, very soon with another stream, also on TV as well, so make sure you do it. Finney says, and now it's after hours. Jeff's ding-a-ling. So there we go. That's the after hours show. All righty, we're out. On that note, we are getting out of here. Yeah, that's the, the Dingling fan stream. All right. It's time to get out of here. Let's do it. We'll see you all again very, very soon, folks. Make sure you look after yourselves. We'll catch you next time. Until then, I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Jeff.
And as always, folks, you know what to do.
Drink up.
And rock on.
Yes.
Ding-a-ling.
Ding-a-ling.
Ding-a-ling. Speak.